not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Cup of tea? Not with my calcium oxalate stones. But this is Veloxa Very Low Oxalate Tea from the makers of Kidney Cup. Specially formulated to keep oxalate levels at a minimum and still taste great. So, cup of tea? Absolutely! Discover your favorite delicious blend when you buy Veloxa Very Low Oxalate Teas on Amazon.com, Walmart.com, or KidneyCup.com. That's Veloxa, Veloxa, Very Low Oxalate Teas.
Sponsored by Calcium Oxalate.
Colombo and Company.
Thursday, the Senate votes to confirm RFK Jr. We'll have the latest, plus an update on local news from Mo Rep Justin Sparks at 2:20 and Dr. Randy Tobler at 3:05.
Live and local weekdays at 2 on News Talk STL.
Hi, it's Chris Arps, and I've been a customer of Royal Banks of Missouri for many years. They are a full-service, locally owned and operated community bank with 17 locations throughout the St. Louis area, including locations in Hannibal, Jerseyville, Granite City, as well as 2 locations in St. Charles. Royal Banks offers Missouri a full range of financial services covering all of your personal and business banking needs, as well as access to over 200 ATM locations. Royal Banks of Missouri also offers convenient interactive teller machines that will connect you with a banker virtually and in real time, available at all their branch locations, and those are open weekdays from 8 to 7 p.m. and 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Saturdays. Plus, given today's headlines in the overall banking industry, it is reassuring to know Royal Banks Missouri has the highest financial ratings in St. Louis for stability and strength. That's Royal Banks Missouri, the community bank for your community. Visit them on the web at royalbanksofmo.com.
Hey, get ready to copy a number that could change the future of your company, connecting you to PRI Global and the world of artificial intelligence. Take a free survey, 636-689-0545, 689-0545. PRI Global has its own AI lab and can create the best way to help your business. 636-689-0545, 689-0545.
Tim Jones here from my great friends at Comprehensive Chiropractic, the premier chiropractic and sports performance facility in the region. How do I know? Simply put, they've helped me on many occasions. Here's another solution to your everyday aches and pains. The Studio Health and Wellness Center. Services include Pilates and yoga, both with certified instructors. I can also highly recommend the massage therapy, which is not an indulgence. It's a proven method of healing and restoration. Trust my friends at Comprehensive Chiropractic in Eureka, cchiropractic.com. That's cchiropractic.com.
The left, for months now,
one by one,
have been begging for a civil war.
Every caller gets their say.
We got to stop and not put these officers in situations where they feel like they have to overreact.
And whether you agree,
we have to assume some responsibility, because I'm a black man,
or disagree,
I think you're politically wrong.
I do not need athletes to tell me.
You're invited to join the conversation.
Thank you for canceling all your games. Now I get it.
101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
That couldn't be easier because everything's ready to go in the app. Just say,
Alexa, play news from Fox.
In Fox News.
It's the latest when you need it on demand from Fox News and Amazon Alexa. A look at what's happening from the Fox News Rundown.
Good morning. It's Thursday, February 13th, 2025. I'm Ted Lindner, and this is the Fox News Rundown. Valentine's Day consumer spending expected to hit an all-time high this year. Fox's Jeff Manasso with the details.
Valentine's Day is set to go back to the Romans that celebrated Saint Valentine in the 3rd century. That's turned into an expensive holiday, with the National Retail Federation saying this year we'll spend about $27.5 billion on product.
This is one of the days where you'll see a lot of people popping the ring and asking to get married.
Angelique John Donjani, professor of marketing at the University of New Haven, says jewelry sales are expected to top $6.5 billion this Valentine's Day. Though barring jewelry, most of us on average will spend about $190 per person on loved ones, friends, and pets, up significantly from Valentine's spending last year. Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
And a federal judge rules the Trump administration can move ahead with a buyout offer to federal workers.
A federal judge in Boston has lifted a temporary order that blocked President Trump's plan to shrink the federal workforce by offering deferred resignations. Judge George O'Toole ruled a group of labor unions does not have legal standing to challenge the program.
Fox's Jared Halper, and I'm Ted Lindner on the Fox News Rundown.
This is the Fox News Rundown.
This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1 and newstalkstl.com. The Vic Porcelli Show.
Thursday, the day before Valentine's Day, Ken Williams and I will be invading Jules on Hampton. We'll be there from 9 to 11. Come on by and say hi.
Weekday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL.
Connor Roofing. You can count on Connor. Congratulations to the awesome team at Connor Roofing for earning the 2024 National Best of the Best Award for customer satisfaction. Connor Roofing has now won back-to-back honors because they do outstanding work in all types of roofing, storm damage restoration, siding, gutters, both residential and commercial. We chose Connor Roofing without telling the owners, Rob and Kathy Connor. Their customer reviews are some of the best in the country. Please read them. Visit ConnorRoofing.com and request an estimate. Connor Roofing, you can count on Connor.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
Attorney General Andrew Bailey. I just realized who you remind me of now that you're rocking the beard. Do you and J.D. Vance get mistaken for each other?
Uh-oh.
Guys could be brothers, I think.
That's right.
Yeah, which is a good thing.
We served in Iraq at the same time. Our nation's in a good spot with this administration coming in office.
Do you wear eyeliner?
I do not. I'm not quite that cool.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps, weekdays at 4 on News Talk STL.
The Napoli heritage of fine dining continues with Napoli Kirkwood. Napoli Kirkwood, now open. So add that to Cafe Napoli in Clayton, Napoli 2 in Town and Country, Napoli 3 in St. Charles, right next door to Napoli C, and don't forget about Napoli Brothers Pizza and Pasta in the district, Chesterfield Valley. All of those locations, plus now, open, Napoli, Kirkwood.
I'm Dr. TJ, owner of the Institute of Natural Health, co-owner of Optimal Nutraceuticals, and the host of Wellness 101. Wellness 101 is designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you common sense, science-based information regarding health and wellness. On the show, we discuss topics like thyroid health, gut health, hormone optimization, and many others. Our show airs Saturdays at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. and Sundays at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. right here on News Talk STL. For more information, visit us at inhstl.com. That's inhstl.com.
The O'Reilly Update, brought to you by Seavers JCB. Visit them at their St. Peter's location.
Bill O'Reilly here, and I'm warming up. Stand by for the O'Reilly Update Morning Edition. But first, ivermectin. It's a name you've heard before, but getting access can be a hassle. That's why you need to check out All Family Pharmacy. They're a licensed pharmacy in Florida, providing ivermectin and other hard-to-get meds. They take care of the prescription and ship it right to your door. You can even stock up in bulk. Please visit allfamilypharmacy.com/Bill. Use code BILL10 for 10% off. Be proactive. Being prepared isn't just a luxury anymore. It's a necessity. On this Thursday, the most powerful Democrat in the country right now is Senator Chuck Schumer of New York. Age 74, he has served in the Senate for 26 years and is the minority leader. A few days ago, Schumer was caught on tape chanting, "We're gonna win," over and over. Perplexing. Democrats lost, Chuck. Didn't anyone tell you? The truth is that Mr. Schumer is foundering. He supported all of President Biden's disastrous policies. Open border, Chuck was on board. DEI, can't get enough. Massive spending, love it a lot. Surrender in Afghanistan, bring it on. Massive regulations on fuel, right on, far out. So Chuck Schumer has been on the wrong side of every issue, and we haven't even discussed his hometown of New York City, where thousands of violent miscreants are running wild because the progressive administration refuses to punish them. So where is Chuck on that? Nowhere. That's where. He's a charter member of the Church Mouse Club, not to be confused with the Mouseketeers, although come to think of it, Chuck might try on those ears. Therefore, it is fascinating to hear the most powerful Democrat in the country yodel that he's winning. You're not, Chuck. Thank God. Back after this. Unfortunately, there's a serious threat to your home. It's called title fraud. Criminals forge a document, file it, just like that, your title is stolen. They can even take out loans against your property. That's why I'm urging you to use Home Title Lock. They provide 24/7 monitoring, alerts, and restoration of your title if fraud occurs. Please go to HomeTitleLock.com. Use promo code BILL25 for 25% off their protection plans. That's HomeTitleLock.com, code BILL25. That is the Morning O'Reilly Update. More analysis later on.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
First Alert 4 Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton. Just watch for a little refreeze in spots, especially untreated areas, as temperatures drop all the way down to 17 for the low. But a little breezy wind in the morning will make a wind chill around 3 above in St. Louis. Some spots even a little below 0 in the morning for the wind chill. Now, by the afternoon, it's sunny, but it is cold. A high of 27 degrees, about 20 degrees below the normal high. But it is sunny and dry for Thursday. Friday for Valentine's Day, turning cloudy, a high of 39 degrees. Chance for some rain Friday night into Saturday morning. That's the latest from the First Alert 4 Weather Center. I'm Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
What's a kid's future worth to you? Could you find an hour or two to help a kid grow up positively? That's all it takes when you're an optimist. We're role models, mentors, leaders, and friends to kids who want to do well. You can lend them a helping hand by volunteering your time for activities and programs that make a positive difference in the lives of young people. If you care about kids, the time to act is here and now. Become an optimist and bring out the best in kids.
If I could be you.
And you could be me for just 1 hour.
If you could find a way.
To get inside each other's mind.
Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
We've all felt left out. And for some, that feeling lasts more than a moment. We can change that. Learn how at belongingbeginswithus.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. Having your first cup of coffee? Mike's on his third. This is Mike Ferguson in the Morning on News Talk STL.
Who doesn't love a good party, right? Getting out, having some fun, meeting with good people, having a grand old time. And if you can do that and also support our veterans at the same time, why wouldn't you do that? Well, 7:35 today, Mark Schmitz from thefreedom13.org going to be with us, and going to tell us about a great event, a pub crawl coming up. And you can be involved, and you can get your tickets today because there aren't that many left. And you can be a part of this fantastic event that's coming up next week. Hey, good morning. I'm Mike Ferguson. Thanks for making News Talk STL part of this Thursday here. Hope you're hanging in there and surviving this whole flu and RSV and COVID and all kinds of nonsense. I think we're kind of on the mend here at the radio station, but hopefully you're holding strong through all of this. Councilman Dennis Hancock from the St. Louis County Council was with us on yesterday's program. Here's the status on Proposition B. It's going to be on the ballot. Despite Sam Page's sort of minions effort to get it thrown off, it is going to be decided by the voters. So what does that mean to you? Well, if you are in St. Louis County, what you're being asked is whether or not you want to give the county council an additional check on the county executive. And so Dennis came on the program to explain kind of what happened with the process and where we go from here. Here's what he had to say.
All right. It turns out the St. Louis County voters are going to decide the fate of Proposition B. After all, despite Sam Page's latest losing court effort, and the question is going to be is how much has it been able to confuse the issue at hand here. Joined now by Dennis Hancock from the St. Louis County Council. Dennis, good to chat with you. That was a wild day in the courts yesterday. So I was actually surprised when I saw the headline that one judge says, yep, take Proposition B off the ballot. And ruling that it was, confusing and misleading and all that sort of stuff. And that was the lawsuit by the different department heads who, frankly, apparently don't want to risk being fired. So they decided to go to court. And then hours later, an appeals court judge puts Proposition B back on the ballot. So let's start with the basics. Voters are going to decide Proposition B come April, one way or the other. And what you're asking voters is to allow the county council to have the ability to fire department heads, but we're talking about a super majority vote here, and this has not been all that controversial on the council itself at this point, right?
No, good morning, Mike. Appreciate you having me on this morning to kind of explain the situation. No, you're exactly right. It really hasn't been controversial with the council. What we found over the last, since my time on the council, a little over 2 years now, is it's very difficult for us to get information from the various departments. We have budget meetings and things like that. It just, they don't come prepared. They don't come with the information we need to make good, informed decisions. And so what we've decided is that, most municipalities in the area have the ability for the council or for the executive or a combination of both to take action when necessary to remove someone from a high-paying job that isn't doing that job, and this gives the council a say in who's working for the county. And I think it's long overdue, and I think it's just going to make our jobs a lot easier, and hopefully eliminate some of the back and forth that's been going on for the last couple of years with since the Page administration came into power.
Yeah, and this is one of the ways this has been painted in media coverage has been this is an ongoing, the next step in the conflict between the council and the Page administration. And in a normal circumstance, Dennis, I would say, boy, let's not change the county charter. Just because one guy is really bad at his job being in Sam Page. But the fact of the matter is that voters have had to go to the charter to amend it multiple times because of the abuse of the office of Sam Page. We've had to go back and tell him, no, the county charter says you can't have a outside employment. We mean that. We voted that in the county charter. We voted on, some other spending and limiting of the county executive's authority. This right here isn't giving you all the, hiring this isn't giving you all everyday oversight of the departments. It's still an executive department, but this seems like this gives you that ace in the hole if there's an extreme situation, because asking for 5 out of 7 votes is pretty tough in most situations when it comes to a county council that's bipartisan in the first place. So this seems to be like this is a for the worst case scenario situation overall, and Sam Page doesn't even want that to be a possibility.
No, yeah, I think you summed it up very well there. I think, this is going to be used in extraordinary situations. This is not going to be used to, because somebody didn't plow somebody's street. This is going to be used because there's, something seriously wrong that the administration isn't addressing and needs to be addressed. And so I think that's really what we're trying to get across to the voters, and what you're going to be hearing from us over the next several months is that this is not us grabbing more power. This is us simply being able to do our jobs. And the council does have a role to play in day-to-day government. We do have a role to play in making sure that the taxpayers are getting the maximum return on their tax dollar investment. And for us, so in order for us to do that, we have to be viewed as a co-equal branch of government instead of as just someone to be dealt with on Tuesday nights, and then you all go off and do something else.
So we're talking about a checks and balances kind of concept?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think that when we get to the point of where someone where we're seriously considering terminating someone, that takes a lot. That's a pretty high bar to cross.
Yeah, I mean, if Prop B were to pass, because I know that the concept is simple, a supermajority vote could fire the director of whatever, the whatever department that it is out there. But what would under Prop B, what would the process look like if voters were to give you that kind of power?
Well, I think it really comes down to anything else that the council does. You would introduce a bill, and then that bill would be acted upon by a supermajority of the council if someone is going to be terminated. If a supermajority isn't garnered, that person stays in their job.
We're visiting with Dennis Hancock from the St. Louis County Council, and it seems to me, just based on Sam Page's reaction in the statement that they put out, that one, they think it's very possible the voters are going to approve this. And if that's the case, it sounds like they're preparing possibly to sue over the results of the election. Is that how you're reading the threats that are coming from the administration at this point?
Yeah, it's an interesting strategy to threaten the voters with another lawsuit that's going to cost several $100,000, and then accuse the council of spending $500,000 to put it on the ballot so that the voters have a say.
Yeah.
I just find, the juxtaposition of that to be interesting. But yeah, this isn't going to be the council interfering in the day-to-day operations of the county. This is going to be the council doing its job and doing the job. And if the voters agree, then the voters will be the ones to give us the authority to do that. And if they disagree, then they won't give it to us.
Yeah, because we are literally talking about a charter amendment. Of course, he sent you all a veto notice on this, which he has absolutely no authority to veto. So and he knows that. I don't know what that was all about. So at this point, then, is it just a matter of the appeals court has ruled, the ballot is set? Now it's a matter of let's have the discussion and the debate. I don't know who's going to campaign for what or against what or anything like that. We're going to be talking about it here. But at this point right now, we need to be pointing out, okay, this is a long-term, this is a permanent change. The voters are being asked. Sam Page is obviously the reason that we're having this conversation. But this is something that will change some of the oversight, those checks and balances, and to some degree power in the county government. And the frustrating thing, Dennis, is, I mean, what the county government does, you're supposed to keep the roads, fixed up, the parks working nicely, the police for the county police, the various things that the utilities aren't in the municipal names. I mean, there are these such practical things the county government is supposed to be doing. And for years, it's all cut up in this mess because Sam Page wants to essentially create a fiefdom, and he keeps getting smacked down by the courts and by the voters. It's just so frustrating to see this level of incompetence and corruption leading to this time and time and time again.
I agree with you, Mike. I think that, and I've said this for some time now, this doesn't have to be this hard.
Yeah.
We can, find some common ground to work on. I've done it on the council level. We've got 4 Democrats and 3 Republicans, and we seem to get along pretty well. We seem to agree on most of the larger items that come to us. But every time we turn around, I mean, we've already overridden this year 4 vetoes of the county executive. It's not just the charter doesn't just refer to the county executive being the government. there's another branch of government as well, and that's the legislative branch. And we do have a role to play. And for the county executive to continually exert power that he doesn't have, I agree with you. It gets very frustrating.
Yeah,
and I would hope that the voters are paying attention, and based on the results of the last few elections where there have been issues regarding the county executive, the voters have responded, I think, appropriately.
So what's next then in this? I mean, I know sometimes there's talk about, funding an education campaign. I've got a little bit of heartburn over how most of those are run because I think they attempt to influence elections with taxpayer dollars. But what happens next in this process? Or is it a matter of it's on the ballot, voters decide, that's just how it is?
Yeah, I think what's going to happen, and I agree with you on the educational campaigns. I always find it ironic that you're spending taxpayer dollars to get people to give you more of their taxpayer dollars.
Yeah.
But I think that what we have to do is, we need to educate the public, and we'll be doing it by doing things like coming on your show and others, and doing interviews, just laying out the case for the voters without using taxpayer dollars to do it. I don't see the council putting together any sort of an educational program. The challenge for us is going to be to stop the county executive from spending taxpayer dollars to educate the voters.
Right.
And so we're going to have to be vigilant, and we're going to have to make sure we're doing our due diligence.
All right. Dennis Hancock from the St. Louis County Council. Really appreciate that update. That's really helpful, Dennis. I'm sure I'm going to be picking your brain for more sooner rather than later on this.
Look forward to it, Mike.
All right. Got a lot of ground to cover today, including, the new inflation numbers are in. Can you believe this? Donald Trump's been in office like 2.5 weeks, maybe almost 3 whole weeks. And not only has he not brought down the price of eggs, but he hasn't fixed inflation yet. Can you believe that? Yeah. Okay. So basically we have the last set of inflation numbers from the Biden administration. I just wanted to kind of get out ahead of what the left's going to be arguing on this. We're going to chat about that and a whole lot more right here on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
We give you news, analysis, opinion, and more. Only on News Talk STL. Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning. Subscribe and watch your favorite News Talk STL shows. Mike Ferguson in the morning, The Vic Porcelli Show, Colombo and Company, Jones and Arps. Webcam streaming on Facebook, Twitter, Rumble. Subscribe and watch News Talk STL. Clint Black in concert. Clint Black, an incredible night featuring some of his greatest hits. Saturday, April 12th, 7 p.m., the Family Arena. Clint Black in concert. Special guests Ruby Lee and Emily Ann Roberts. On sale now at the Carroll House Furniture box office located at the Family Arena or Ticketmaster. Don't miss Clint Black.
Love your couch but hate sinking into it? Custom Foam has your solution. We specialize in replacing your cushion foam with firmer options, firmer than anything you'll find in furniture stores, and a fraction of the cost of new furniture. Need extra firm support or soft cushioning for your back pillows? We have options you can test in person. From couches to window seats, dining chairs to custom projects. We'll have your furniture feeling like new in just a few days. We even offer same-day service. Visit custom-foam.com. That's custom-foam.com.
Larry Connors here. Now I'm heading to southern Italy for a tour of the most beautiful coastline in the world, the Amalfi Coast. I want you to join me. We'll travel for 11 magical days with professionals from Conservative Tours. They're the best tour operators in Italy. Conservative Tours, an A+ rating with the BBB. $54.88 is your cost. That includes airfare from St. Louis, luxury hotels, dining events you'll remember for years. Call 888-733-9494 or go to conservativestours.com. Join me next spring in Italy on the Isle of Capri, just $54.88, including airfare from St. Louis. 888-733-944 or go to conservativetours.com.
Thanks for taking my call.
News, analysis, opinion.
Radio news junkie. Love every bit about it.
News Talk STL.
Hi, this is Mark McCloskey. Check out my show, Mark McCloskey on Fire, Sunday afternoon at 5 here on News Talk STL. Right now, it's back to Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Now it looks like another DEI office that bites the dust.
Oh, this is interesting.
Yeah. Yep. Are you going to notice any differences? Probably not, which is kind of the point of some of this, at least. It is 5:52 right now. I'm Mike. Got Stell back here. Welcome back, Stell.
Nice to be back.
Yes.
Let's see if I know how to hit
all those buttons.
Yeah.
I don't know if you were listening while you were out
a
under
little
the
bit. Weather. Yes.
We had a couple days ago. Jerome comes in. Nothing's working.
Oh, my goodness.
All the lights were off. Nothing. And of course, I kind of stagger in because I'm here, but I'm not feeling 100%.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, "What'd you do, Mike? You got the whole board sick." I'm like, "What? Me? Somebody got me sick. Whoever got me sick got the board sick." So yeah, they had to. It was a whole thing.
Had to reset everything.
Had to reset everything.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
It was something else. So, but it's weird because you can just like Tony Colombo can go in and get on his phone and log in and keep stuff going while we're trying to fix it. But yeah, it's been quite a week. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Put it that
One,
way.
I'd rather not remember it. I'm going to just shove it off into my,
Yeah.
memory way down the line. I don't want to remember the last
Well,
few
it was
days.
it was a week ago today that it was right around this time. We kind of looked at each other like, "Man, I don't feel good," and we all kind of went, "Yeah, I don't feel good either." So it was about a week ago that our journey into whatever this nonsense is started up. By the way, Flashback Friday is coming up, so let's go ahead and get that out there. And if you want to get your request in, better do it now. Turn it around quick because Stell hasn't had a lot of time to work on this stuff.
Yeah, I got till 2 this afternoon to get your request in.
Yeah, so send those in here. All right. Well, the band is kind of back together. So, Gabe, we're expecting Gabe to be in here in a little bit.
Awesome.
That will be good.
Good.
See how he's doing. Because he sounded like he was struggling. I think he was going to try to come in yesterday, and he told us on a text that Janet vetoed it. So I'm like, okay, which means that you probably weren't ready to come back in, and he was going to try because we're dudes, and that's what we do. I mean, if we had a normal job, would any of us actually probably be in here today?
No, probably not.
Probably not. So we'll have Gabe in here, and we'll kind of limp through the whole thing. Jeez. All right, another announcement coming. All right, let me get a drink here. PBS announces they are shutting down their DEI office. Yep.
So this is on a national level.
National level. Their national DE office, which was put into place under the Biden administration in 2021. And the two people running it, two women, have been let go. And they say, well, this is because of the executive order that Donald Trump issued. Basically they don't like it, but they know there's nothing they can do about it. And then, of course, they put out a statement saying, we're going to continue to tell stories of all Americans. But here's the thing is PBS is on the left. We know that. This isn't going to affect what they put on the air. It's not going to affect what they put online. And PBS does have some good, particularly historic programming when they get in to do some of that. But it's nothing that can't be done in the private sector already. Honestly, there's no need for us to be funding PBS whatsoever. No need for us to be funding NPR whatsoever. If there's a demand for their product, then there will be people who are willing to pay to keep them on the air. But with the DEI office here, I can't imagine this is actually going to change their mindset on anything. I mean, is Channel 9 going to change anything about what they do? Because the national level doesn't have the DEI office. And Channel 9's really produced some fantastic stuff. I mean, our buddy Ed Wheatley been in here a number of times. He produces his stuff, on the St. Louis Browns and all that sort of thing. Those documentaries were all produced in partnership with Channel 9. So they do some very good work. They just don't need our taxpayer dollars to do it. And they don't need a DEI office to keep that up and running. There is a demand for that programming, and you meet it whether or not you have a DEI office or not.
Yeah, they do plenty of fundraising during the year. So there's plenty of financial backing that's available for them, and they do a good job. And granted, Kate, the Channel 9 frequency here in St. Louis does very well as far as ratings are concerned.
Yeah, they do, because they do a good job of looking at some local, keeping things very very local. They don't go too crazy, too crazy with the ideology, insanity here. I mean, they're definitely not conservative. There's no, and that's never going to happen.
No, not at all.
I've been not here, but in another city. I used to do one of those weekend review type of shows, and I was on kind of the A-team panel, and I was on 2 to 3 times a month for their weekly stuff, and I was the token conservative guy, and so I would spar with the 3 journalists from the other TV stations and the newspapers and things like that, and sometimes my radio competition, and I enjoyed it. Of course, I'm just glad that they had somebody that they brought me on, and then they didn't leash me, so I was able to say what I wanted to say. And the shows here just aren't that good. I think the local news coverage shows on PBS just really aren't that good. But is the DEI office getting eliminated going to change anything? No. And that, to me, that's kind of the point, is that it was a pointless office, and a lot of what they were doing was just taking your taxpayer dollars and internally running their programs, hiring people that probably didn't need to be hired and promoting programs that didn't need to be promoted. So that's just another tangible result of what's happening with this massive cultural shift that's happening right now around the country.
Public schools, like public libraries, should be free and open to all. Open enrollment allows parents to choose the school that's the best fit for their children. Maybe another school has a wider curriculum, is bigger or smaller. Maybe a kid is being bullied and would be more comfortable at another school. 75% of parents favor open enrollment. Open enrollment programs now exist in 43 states, and Missouri should join them. Our next door neighbor, Kansas, has one of the strongest open enrollment policies in the nation. Kansas parents are trusted with choices and options, while Missouri parents must move out of their home to change public schools. And it's a trend. Nationwide, the percentage of students going to their chosen public school has steadily increased. Assigning kids to schools based on their zip code is the old way. Open enrollment is a better way. Learn more at showmeinstitute.org. The Show Me Minute has been brought to you by Show Me Institute and Show Me Opportunity.
Sievers JCB, a trusted leader in agriculture and construction. Connect with SieversJCB.com and browse their inventory, or stop by and let them show you the capabilities of the JCB lineup. Telebooms, skid steers, loaders, forklifts, excavators, backhoes, and more. JCB has pushed diesel to its limits with machines that now emit 50% less CO2. JCB's new Icon software system will blow your mind, offering iConfigure, iConnect, and iControl. Learn more at SieversJCB.com.
To our brave police officers and first responders, we say thank you for risking your lives to protect us. To all the incredible volunteers who've joined hands with the David Dorn Foundation to raise funds for equipment and services, we extend our heartfelt gratitude. We stand strong with our volunteers who give their time, talent, and dedication as a shield of support for those who rush into danger. The David Dorn Foundation gives a big thank you from our heart to yours. Visit dornfoundation.com and join as a volunteer.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green.
This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rex Thomason. President Trump promising to shine a spotlight on government waste, fraud, and abuse at a news conference later today, telling White House reporters they'll want to hear what he has to say.
I'm going to read to you some of the names that hundreds of millions and even billions of dollars have been given to. And if you tell me that we should be giving money to those things, those entities, I think you'll probably have to leave as a reporter because you're not very talented.
The president says billions of dollars being thrown away illegally, and he is determined to put a stop to it. He's also determined to end the carnage in Ukraine. He's spoken with Russia's Vladimir Putin about that.
That's what Donald Trump wrote on social media, saying the two leaders agreed to contact Ukraine's president and begin negotiations on ending the Ukraine war. It's believed to be the first phone call between the two since Trump returned to the White House. The call came following Moscow's release of an American school teacher who had been jailed for more than 3 years.
White House correspondent Craig Clugston. Hamas says it will release the next group of Israeli hostages as planned, 3 more Israeli captives to be set free on Saturday. A Massachusetts federal judge has cleared the way for President Trump's buyout offer to eligible federal workers to proceed. Prospects looking good for Senate confirmation of Robert F. Kennedy Jr. as HHS Secretary. The vote expected today. The sandbags handed out, rescue crews in place. Residents urged to have a to-go kit ready. Southern California bracing for an atmospheric river. Could bring heavy rains, winds, and flooding to areas ravaged by wildfires. Parts of the Midwest have been slammed by a winter storm. Chicago and points north and west watch the snow pile up. Dozens of schools closed. The roads are dicey. And temperatures plunging across the northern and central plains as a polar vortex descends. Wall Street, the Dow futures up 8 points. More on these stories, townhall.com.
A new president is sworn in. America's greatness is being restored. And there's breaking news every minute. Now, tens of millions of Americans are turning off Fox and CNN and tuning in to Newsmax for the breaking information they really need to know. Reuters Institute says Newsmax is one of the top news brands in America. Find it yourself on all major cable systems and on your TV or smartphone store. Just download the Newsmax app for free and start watching. You'll get great shows with Rob Schmidt, Greta Van Susteren, Rob Finnerty, and Carl Higbee, and more. Find out why millions of Americans have made the switch. Even President Trump says Newsmax is terrific, and he's watching. So make the switch to Newsmax. Check us out on cable and satellite TV or download the Newsmax app today. Watch us anytime, anywhere. Remember, Newsmax is real news for real.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
It's all about the cold today, even with the clearing sky this morning and loads of sunshine this afternoon. High temps only jump to about 28 degrees. That's almost 20 degrees colder than normal for this time of year. Got wind chills in the single digits this morning, teens this afternoon. Clear, cold, but calm tonight, down to 15 at St. Louis. And for Valentine's Day, increasing cloudiness up to about 40 in the afternoon. Some showers breaking out after about 7 p.m. with on and off rain for Saturday. At your first alert forecast, I'm meteorologist Matt Shea.
This hour of News Talk STL brought to you by Piccadilly Palace, located in Union, Missouri. The ultimate family fun center is Piccadilly Palace. Call 314-860-6418 or visit piccadillypalace.com.
Tim Jones here. I'm here with Eric from Newstetter's Fine Jewelers, a St. Louis jewelry tradition since 1961. What are y'all doing over at the jewelry store?
Wow. Well, first I want to say don't let fine and fine jewelry confuse you. We have pieces starting at $100 that will keep your loved one happy for a lifetime and look like you spent thousands. Get started early. We also have a wish list to ensure your loved one gets exactly what they want. And we're also bringing back a layaway program to make your life easier. Newstetter's Fine Jewelry is truly where honesty and integrity meet. We're all about quality at a fair price. Our goal is to guarantee that the gift you give will be loved for a lifetime. Come in and meet our professional staff that will put your needs above all else. There's never any pressure here, just an attentive family that listens and educates you to ensure you're completely happy and the gift you give is perfect.
Experience that fantastic Newstetter's difference today at wowdiamonds.com. Newstetter's Fine Jewelers, wowdiamonds.com.
Hi, Kirk Hilsinger here, and I'm the new chairman of the St. Louis Republican Central Committee. I invite you to our meetings that take place the first Thursday of every month at 3710 Hampton Avenue. You can stay connected with us to learn more about how you can get involved, make your voice heard, and contribute to our shared goals. Together, we can make a difference in the city of St. Louis and the state of Missouri. For more info, visit our new website at stl-gop.com. That's stl-gop.com.
Paid for by St. Louis City Republican PAC. Curtis Farber, Treasurer.
All the information I need on the drive to work.
Mike Ferguson in the morning. We keep it on throughout the day, whether it's local, national, or something big that's happening overseas.
News, analysis, and opinion.
St. Louis is #1 for conservative talk.
News Talk STL.
Mike Ferguson.
It's a miracle we're not in prison.
Gabe Pfeiffer.
Are you kidding me?
Get up! Get up! Can't you hear the alarm?
Get up, St. Louis.
Yeah, it's kind of a thing.
Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Get up! Get up! This is your cousin.
Good morning to the people of St. Louis.
All right, DOGE has the spotlight, but Congress has the teeth. And we've got the update for you.
All right.
Yep. Also, wait, who is that?
Oh,
what?
Who's that guy?
I heard a strange voice.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Marked safe from the plague.
There you go.
Amen, brother.
Donald Trump's plan to buy out federal workers moves forward as expected. Basically, exactly what I predicted was going to happen has happened. And a once powerful Illinois politician hears his verdicts in court. It is 6:06 right now. I'm Mike. Got Gabe back.
Yay!
Got Stell back.
Yay! Band's back together. Let's
Band's
go.
back together, sort of here. All right, let's go and dump some news on you.
The morning news dump.
Are you joking? Is this a joke?
Listen, folks. The morning news dump.
Start off with one of those yikes kind of stories here. A jet slides off the taxiway at Lambert on Wednesday.
That's definitely a yikes.
Yeah. Airport officials say the United Regional jet had 27 people on board. Nobody was hurt. The jet was operated by GoJet Airlines. They had just landed a little before 11 a.m. On a flight in from Washington Dulles. We don't have a report on exactly what caused it. Obviously, that's when a lot of the snow and sleet was falling at the time, and this was a pretty small jet. Mr. Rocket Scientist, avionics guy, those lighter jets, do they tend to be a little more susceptible to those icy patches or anything? Because the taxiway, they're not moving very fast.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if it had anything to do with the size of it, but if the runway or the taxiway were still slick, yeah, you could see them coming in a little hot and then getting a little going too fast there.
Yeah. But the good thing is nobody was hurt. And it doesn't even look like the plane was really damaged that much.
Oh, that's good.
So it looks like what happened is they hit I'm speculating, but it looks like they hit a patch.
Hit a patch.
Yeah, that's probably what happened here. All right, let's see here. This happened in the Oval Office yesterday.
So help me God. So help me God. Congratulations.
All right, that is U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi swearing Tulsi Gabbard into her position as Director of National Intelligence.
Tulsi goes through.
Yep, Tulsi goes through. President Trump was also there to sign, the documents to complete the process, and obviously said he's, sticking by her. That's his pick. Of course, Gabbard faced criticism during her vetting by senators, raised concern about her opposition to some FISA programs, and to a visit that she did to Syria. Vote to confirm Tulsi Gabbard 52-48. So not exactly party line because Mitch McConnell voted against her as well.
Were there any Democrats who defected to vote for her? Okay. All right.
Not in the least.
I figured as much.
Yep, exactly. All right. The DOJ has announced that it has filed a lawsuit against the state of New York.
Here we go.
Yep. Governor Kathy Hochul and Attorney General Letitia James are also targets in this lawsuit over their immigration policies. Attorney General Pam Bondi issued a warning for other so-called sanctuary cities and states that refuse to comply with the Trump administration's immigration proposals.
If you don't comply with federal law, we will hold you accountable. We did it to Illinois. Strike one. Strike two is New York. And if you are a state not complying with federal law, you're next. Get ready.
And in the New York lawsuit, of course, like, the Attorney General just said, following that lawsuit against the state of Illinois and the city of Chicago, saying that their laws defy the Trump administration's immigration enforcement in the area. It wasn't even just so much that as it is just basically defied the law and got in the way of law enforcement enforcing federal immigration law.
Yeah, I think they're on the find out part of the F around and find out equation.
Yeah, pretty much. That's where it's at. So this is going to be interesting because, again, it's always going to come down to which judge gets the case. But eventually this is going to end up going up to the U.S. Supreme Court. We could be looking at a massive reset in the relationships between the states and the federal government.
Absolutely. Well, and the immigration question has been one that's gone back and forth for a while now. You had Republican administrations like really it's just been between the bouncing between the Trump and the Biden administration. Trump administration tries to enforce the law, states defy. Then the Biden administration gets in, states try to enforce the law, and the Biden administration gets in the way, saying, no precedent. And, here we are again. I think the Supreme Court is definitely going to have to weigh in and kind of set the bar for what that relationship is, especially in regards to immigration.
Yeah, we're literally looking at something that's probably going to reset how this structure is for the next 50 to 75 years.
That's entirely possible.
That's how big this is. This isn't headlines on social media right now. This is, if you look ahead to what is ahead, that's really what we're looking at here. All right, a federal judge says President Trump's buyout plan for federal employees can go forward.
After pausing the deferred resignation program, U.S. District Judge George O'Toole Jr. cleared the way for the plan to downsize the federal workforce. The judge didn't rule on the legality of the so-called buyout, but found that the labor unions that sued didn't have legal standing to challenge the program. According to the White House, tens of thousands of workers have taken the government up on its offer to resign now and get paid through September. Greg Clugston, Washington.
And that's pretty much exactly what I thought was going to happen on this. So I suspect there'll be another attempt at a lawsuit, but even outside of the legal aspect of it, can you imagine federal workers going to their union going, why are you trying to stop me from getting 8 months of free salary and benefits?
Right.
This is, they're going to cut my job. We know they're going to cut my job. Let me take the deal. Why are you stopping me? Why are you trying to stop me from taking the deal?
This is one of those lawsuits that I don't understand. I mean, I understand the obstructionism from the left, and they're trying to do everything they can to slow down the massive wave of Trump administration moves here. But this doesn't seem like it. You know what I mean? It's like of all the things to file a lawsuit, why one where it actually benefits the worker?
Yeah, I want to follow up with this right around 6:20 or so, because I've got some thoughts on that question right there, Gabe. And I think that's the right question to be asking. All right, once considered the most powerful politician in Illinois' history, former Democratic Speaker Michael Madigan is now convicted of federal bribery and wire fraud charges. Madigan was convicted on 10 counts. He was acquitted on 7 other counts, and the jury was unable to reach verdicts in 6 other counts. This had a lot to do with utilities and kickbacks and just all kinds of stuff. Madigan was the state speaker of the House for over 30 years. And when somebody says he was the most powerful politician in Illinois history, that's saying something, because he's really was considered by a lot of people the most powerful politician in the state of Illinois' history. And the state of Illinois has had some pretty powerful politicians over the years.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, if anybody's been in Illinois, living in Illinois for any length of time over the past 30, 40 years, the politics of the Madigan family is intertwined with everything.
His daughter was attorney general for 3-4 terms, something like that.
Yeah.
So,
and
then she finally is like, I better not run. My dad's about to get indicted. But she served, he was speaker and she was attorney general as well. All right. So let's see here. What else is going on here? I got a few more minutes here. All right. Trump administration trying to end the war in Ukraine, now negotiating with Russia in a deal that could result in Ukraine being told they have to give up some of their territories to Russia after Russia invaded. And then, of course, blocking Russia from joining NATO at the same time. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth speaking with reporters at NATO headquarters, saying the war in Ukraine has changed the way the alliance itself, meaning NATO, functions.
The war in Ukraine, the aggression by Russia, has been a factory reset for NATO, a realization that this alliance needs to be robust and strong and real. And that's why President Trump has called for increased defense spending across the board.
Trump is asking European countries to increase their defense spending up to 5% of their GDP. And remember, he actually said during the campaign that he would let Russia attack NATO members if they don't pay what he thought was the fair share as well. So there's a lot of confusion, probably what the heck is about to happen sort of thing going on over there.
Did you see yesterday morning, Hegseth was with the Marine Corps troops and working out with them, doing their early morning
I didn't see
workouts.
That.
Yeah. So the troops are pretty excited to have him there, and he made it through all the exercises.
He's a fit guy.
Yeah.
Kind of like when, what was his name? Greitens did the workouts with the cops and stuff like that. Those are great photo ops. I mean, and they are photo ops, but
if you can do it, do it.
Yeah.
But, otherwise, whatever.
I don't think Lloyd Austin's going to do a whole lot of burpees. All right. Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey is asking Missouri lawmakers for more money At a House budget hearing on Wednesday, the AG asked for an additional $3 million in the next budget in order to hire more attorneys to take on what he calls more complicated cases that his office is dealing with. Current budget for his office is $44.7 million. Bailey's asking for $47.7 million. All right. The Department of Government Efficiency.
My favorite one.
Yes. They had meetings this week for their subcommittee. There's actually a DOGE subcommittee. Many Democrats really critical of the early efforts. Wonder why. Congressman Eric Burlison, a Republican out of Missouri, was on the Will Cain show. He says Democratic lawmakers just don't have the right priorities.
They're making an ad hominem attack against Elon Musk. They're attacking the messenger as opposed to attack the policies.
And we are going to talk to Congressman Eric Burlison at 6:35. So we're going to get the update from him.
Well, there's a reason why I was so excited about the idea of DOGE. It's kind of working out about what I expected, what I had hoped. There were some people who were a little bit down on basically what their mandate would be, but I don't know if they're exceeding their mandate, but they're definitely doing the job that I wanted them to do.
Right, and so now Congress, though, is going to have to be the ones to really follow through on the big stuff.
That's true.
Yep. All right, it's 6:16 right now. Let's follow up on this whole thing with the judge saying, all right, the president can offer the buyouts to the federal workers. Why in the world are the union bosses trying to stand in the way of that, literally standing in the way of their own members saying, no, let me cash the check, man? I've got some thoughts on that. We'll do that around 6:20 here on 101.9 94.1 News Talk STL.
I've had enough of this. Turn my eyes to your indifference.
For podcast articles and more, find us on newstalkstl.com.
Get up, can't you hear the alarm? Get up, this is your cousin.
Get up. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Get up, get up, get up.
Southern Armory, your hometown gun store. Come and be more than just a customer. Southern Armory, we carry the best guns, holsters, knives, magazines, ammunition, and even food storage. Special orders are welcome. Southern Armory, 1 mile east of 270 and 44, 9901 Watson Road, and southernarmory.com. That's southernarmory.com.
Whether you're purchasing your first firearm or adding to your collection at Southern Armory, you're more than a customer, you're part of the family. Follow Southern Armory on Facebook or at southernarmory.com.
At Elite Comfort Experts, they don't believe in gimmicks, just guarantees. And now they're teaming up with Amana Heating and Air Conditioning to bring you a 99-year compressor and heat exchange warranty and a 10-year parts and labor warranty on a high new efficiency HVAC system. This exclusive offer is available on qualifying systems installed before April 15th. Choose integrity and quality. Choose Elite Comfort Experts. Call Elite at 636-887-0971 or visit EliteComfortExperts.com. Mention the promo code NewsTalkSTL.
Looking for an underwater adventure or a scaly new friend? Dive into Tropical World Pets on Watson Road. For 32 years, this family-owned wonderland has been St. Louis's go-to destination for all things aquatic and reptilian. With over 7,000 square feet of aquariums, we're home to the area's largest selection of freshwater fish, including rare cichlids you won't find anywhere else. But that's not all. We've got tarantulas, snakes, and lizards galore. Tropical World Pets, 314-849-4020, or visit twpstl.com.
Hey there, Chris Cooper here. Join me every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. on News Talk STL for a little fun with finance. We'll talk about taxes, the economy, finance, and most importantly, how to enjoy the lifestyle you deserve.
Serenity Wealth Now with Chris Cooper. Sunday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL.
Tune in on Sunday and visit serenitynowtax.com for your free copy of my book, The New Holistic Retirement. That's serenitynowtax.com.
Serenity Now! This hour of Mike Ferguson in the Morning is brought to you by Stifel. Request a portfolio review from your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com.
Good morning, Missouri. It's your boy, Joe Pags. I'll talk to you tonight at 10. But right now, let's get back to Mike Ferguson in the Morning.
It just dawned on me what you're doing with
right.
it.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say,
I just got it.
I see you.
There it is.
Yeah.
I'm a little slow on the uptake.
This
but
guy.
I got it. Yeah, there it is. Hey, by the way, congratulations to the Paint the Town Red promotion winners. But I'm not going to tell you who they are.
Right.
Right. Because
It's a
they got
close
some really good Valentine's Day gifts that they're going to give to their sweeties.
Yeah.
Their sweetums.
Schnookums.
Schnookums. But they don't need to know that we provided it to them and that
Right.
it was from a radio station. So way to go.
Closely guarded secret.
Yes.
Just between us.
Yes. And we're not telling anybody. So way to go on that. That's just going to be more of the stuff we're going to have throughout the year here. Okay. So we're here. We're sort of healthy. Sort of.
Yeah. Healthy enough to be outside of the house.
I don't
barely.
I don't think any of us after a week. I don't think any of us are contagious anymore.
No, not at all.
By any means. But it's still like, you're coughing, I'm coughing. You haven't really been coughing still. I think you're.
I haven't had much of an issue with coughing or the throat issues, but I had a really good allergic reaction to one of the antibiotics.
Oh man,
that was prescribed to me. So if you look at me, I sort of look okay, but then when you look at my arms and my hands,
Little red and
you
splotchy.
can see where the red stuff is wearing off, turning pink, and slowly disappearing. So I feel okay, but kind of itchy. So I'll be all right.
Yeah.
And it's dry and cold, making that even worse.
Now, fatigue is universal, though, right? I mean, they're just being tired, feeling a little extra wiped.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're all slow movers today.
It's been that way all week.
Yeah.
It's just but and it's not just us. I mean, it's all throughout the Midwest.
Yes. Well, I heard it's throughout the country. I heard that
man.
this is basically the flu, and this is kind of one of the worst flu seasons the nation has had in a good long while.
Yeah, because Gabe and I were just chatting a few minutes ago, and I said, "What do you think we ended up with?" Because it was about 1 week ago right now that we kind of looked at each other and went, "Man, I don't feel good."
Yeah, I got a little tickle and something's
hitting me.
Yep, something's coming on.
It was literally 1 week ago today. So, and at one point I'm thinking, well, I don't know. It doesn't feel like COVID like what I had before. No, I think it was the flu.
Yeah, I think it was the flu too.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's just completely draining out there. But we're back to the mindset of, okay, just power through.
Yeah.
Do
Do what you need to do.
I was off on Friday. You guys were off a little bit longer than I was.
Don't sneeze on people.
Yeah, exactly.
Wash your hands.
Yeah, do the basic stuff, power through, because life has to go on.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this is the way it was. Can you imagine if this had happened 2 or 3 years ago?
Oh, well, the minute there was a sniffle,
everybody's scattered.
or a sneeze or a cough, everybody's looking at you like you have I mean, I joked about having the plague, but that's the way we treated each other during the COVID thing. That's we were kind of conditioned to treat each other.
Yeah, I think I've admitted this on the air before, but remember when we first started the show, started the station? Man, that's 4 years ago now.
Oh yeah, wow. It's been a while.
Yeah, 3.5, 4 years ago when we first went on the air, Ken was doing the board back then. And all of us had COVID.
Yes.
At that point.
Mm-hmm.
We, of course, I mean, that's still when Tashara Jones was locking everybody down and demanding that, everybody was wearing masks.
Sam Page was doing his
Sam
thing.
Page was doing, it was just insane. And we made a deal in the old studio. You remember this?
Oh yeah.
We're like, okay, if we end up getting COVID again, we're not telling anybody.
Yeah, it's like don't.
We're just, unless we're like really sick, if we get like asymptomatic or it's like a cold, we're just going to keep coming to work.
Right. Yeah. We looked at it. It's like, are you okay with that? It's like, yeah. Are you okay?
All three of us were like, yep.
Little gentleman's agreement.
Yeah.
That what stays in the studio what happens in the studio stays in the studio.
Yeah. Now none of us ended up getting it.
No, not at that time anyway.
No, we had that deal where we were just like, we're not going to do this.
No,
we're just not and we're not going to brag about it on the air. But that was the deal that we made back then. And now we look back, we're like, yeah, that was right.
Yeah, absolutely. Because the games they were having us play were completely different. It was very much oh no, you've had the couve, so therefore you have to stay away for a certain period of time, even if you're asymptomatic, and you have to test periodically, and you have to provide everybody your status at all times and all this. It felt weird. It felt weird to us, and we intentionally bucked all of the trends that were going around at the time of people, informing on one another, and then making sure to test it to ensure, okay, well, I haven't had a positive PCR test in 24 hours, and therefore, but it's like, you know what, screw that stuff.
Yeah, let's just go back to life. And now, turns out we were right.
Yeah, that's how everybody has been operating since, right? It's especially in this period where when I had COVID. Not even my top 20 colds, right?
You called it one of the wimpiest colds you'd ever had.
Yeah, it was. This thing, top five easy all day. And I have no idea what it was, but I knew that, hey, when it hit, you stay home, you try and do your best to recover, and when you're finally back up to speed, you go back to work. Like, what the heck?
All right, I got some thoughts on this case where the unions tried to block Donald Trump from buying out the federal workers.
Yes, please.
Okay, so the judge who put a halt on the case, which, and I said it at the time, I said I have a feeling, because he wasn't ruling on the case at the time. He goes, okay, we're going to set up a hearing, we're going to hear the arguments, and then, which is pretty normal. And what's happened here is the left is basically just, anytime he now writes an executive order, they're filing a lawsuit.
Yes.
On anything and everything. So basically,
automatic.
Basically what you have right now is Donald Trump says, ellipses, ... and it doesn't really matter what he says. Somebody says, take it to court.
Right.
Now, he has been far more disciplined and savvy, as I mentioned earlier this week, with his executive orders this time around than he was in his first term.
And also, the volume, I think, is intentional.
Oh, it's drinking from the fire hose.
Yes. And it forces the left to basically spread all of their crazy responses across multiple subjects, so they can't find a unified message of opposition.
Yeah, so look at the labor unions, the federal workers unions who are trying to block this. And you can look at it from the blocking and tackling side of it, from, okay, they're on the left and they're aligned with the Democratic Party, whatever. But at the same time, something like 65,000 workers have said, heck yeah.
Right.
I'll take that deal.
Yeah. Here's the thing. If you are a worker advocate organization, shouldn't you be trying to get the best deal for your workers?
Right.
And doesn't that include severance packages?
Yeah.
Right. So then when your workers get some of the best severance packages, public or private,
right,
in an era when downsizing is coming, everybody knows the downsizing is coming, and everybody knows nobody can stop it. Why would you stand in the way?
See, that's the big question. And so what's happened at this point is those on the left, just that general alignment on the left, have just said, we're going to throw every lawsuit we possibly can. And either they are thinking through this and they're saying, we know this is bad for our members, but at least it's attacking our opponent, or they're not thinking through and your members are going, what the heck, dude?
Right. I got to say, if I'm a member and I'm one of the people that, what, I am tired of working for the federal government. This is a really good deal. I got 8 months. I can take some time off. I can get a job anywhere. My resume is pretty solid, so I'm not worried about it. I got a paid vacation for more than half the year.
September.
That's wild.
Right.
So I'm definitely taking that. Why are you trying to take it away from me now?
Yeah. So
Union?
This is just simply the tribal anti-Trump reaction.
It's got to be.
Yeah, because the left was, not just knocked on their heels, but knocked on their butt.
Yeah.
With the just like you said, the volume of these executive orders.
They're still scrambling.
I mean, there's an actual specific kind of folder that you put these things in, and they're probably about 3/4 of an inch high, tall.
Yeah.
And if you stack them all up, I wouldn't be surprised, because we've had hundreds of them. If we're looking at something that's 7-8 feet tall at this point.
Easily. Yeah. I mean, you use the drinking from the fire hose analogy, and I love that one. That was one that we used at MIT is what it's like trying to learn stuff there. But it goes right along with, though, the idea of them being knocked back on their heels.
Right.
I can almost see them flailing under the constant deluge on the ground, scrambling to get up. And I guess any foothold, and that's the thing, I think any foothold in as far as they're concerned is a good one, just so they can try and get back on their feet.
And the Democrats are making such a stupid mistake right now, because we're finding so many ridiculous, indefensible spending things. And they're mounting protest rallies with bad singers.
Yeah.
I mean,
all of it.
Trying to make up songs about opposing DOGE.
All of it is kind of amazing, because what the Trump administration has done, especially with the vast majority of the executive orders, is they've picked as many, quote, 80-20 issues as they can. Basically, issues where the American people are on, the 80% support essentially of the American people for a particular thing, and they're going to say, okay, 80% of you want this, here it comes.
Yeah.
And that forces the Democrats in their opposition to choose the 20%.
And what the Democrats should be doing is going, oh yeah, well, we're going to find even bigger wasteful things and we're going to get credit for it.
Yeah. Well,
let's have a race to see who can find the worst waste and fraud.
If they were really on their game, they would be finding the things that align better with their own ideology that counts as waste and fraud.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we shouldn't be toppling nations, or we shouldn't be doing these appeal to your anti-war base, appeal to the non-interference wings of your party, appeal to whatever it is, teaching patriotism. That sounds like
colonization.
I don't know. Whatever you want to do, however you want to spin it, why not do that and still be on the 80% side of the issue? But they are staunch about wanting to continue to fund transgender operas in Peru.
Right. All right. Just ahead here, pick this up with Congressman Eric Burlison. He's on that select group of people who's been added to what's called the DOGE subcommittee. We're going to talk to him right around 6:34 here on 101.9 94.1 News Talk STL.
You could be found. Told them you were living downtown, driving all the old men crazy. The boys are back in town. The boys are back in town. I said, the boys are back in town. The boys are back in town. The boys are back in town.
Follow us on Rumble at News Talk STL. Get up. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
It's all about the cold today, even with the clearing sky this morning and loads of sunshine this afternoon. High temps only jump to about 28 degrees. That's almost 20 degrees colder than normal for this time of year. Got wind chills in the single digits this morning, teens this afternoon. Clear, cold, but calm tonight, down to 15 in St. Louis. And for Valentine's Day, increasing cloudiness up to about 40 in the afternoon. Some showers breaking out after about 7 p.m. with on and off rain for Saturday. At your first alert forecast, I'm meteorologist Matt.
Hey, Tim Jones here with a reminder. Winter is the perfect time to obtain an expert evaluation of all your trees, shrubs, your biggest assets for safety, health, or maybe even removal. Hanson's Tree Service, locally owned and operated, not only can consult with you on the exact services you need, but during the winter months, you might even save more money. Keep their emergency number handy in case you need it. Emergency removal anytime over the winter months. Hanson's Tree Service, 636-379-1830. HansonsTree.com. That's HansonsTree.com.
Nate Lucas here for the Village Bar in the heart of Des Peres. Since 1948, the Village Bar has been the go-to destination for delicious food, cold drinks, and unbeatable atmosphere. Savor their famous wings, burgers, and onion rings, or grab a drink from their fully stocked bar. Catch all the big games and enjoy the company of their friendly staff. Plus, don't miss the 1879 Distillery, a one-of-a-kind experience right next door. The Village Bar offers the best value in town. Find the Village Bar on Facebook and come experience where history meets great times. You'll be glad you did.
Jeffco Patriot Radio. Every week, get the stories and insider analysis of what is really happening in Jefferson County.
We are basically kind of doing a little Tim Jones radio here with a focus on Jefferson County. My co-host, Billy Crow.
Really excited to show the people of the region everything that Jefferson County has to offer.
Jeffco Patriot Radio.
If it's a big story in Jefferson County, you'll hear about it on Jeffco Patriot Radio. Sundays at noon on News Talk STL.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
Will Trump level Hamas? We discuss with Steve Bucci at 5:25. Chris DeGaulle will open enrollment, solve our education woes.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps. Weekdays at 4 on News Talk STL.
I think we should be able to have a civil conversation.
The news and talk that matters to St. Louis.
This conversation has completely made me crazy.
This is complete insanity.
News Talk STL.
Hi, this is Susie Moore. Check out my show, Red State Radio, Sunday afternoon at 4, right here on News Talk STL. Now it's back to Mike Ferguson in the morning.
All right. Remember, Elon Musk, for the most part, cannot cut a single thing from government.
Right.
He doesn't have the authority.
No.
Congress, though, can cut a lot. and working with DOGE and with Elon Musk, there's a lot that can get done. So now we're at that point in this process where we see what's possible. The question is going to be what's going to actually happen. Congress is now in that fight. We've got the Insider's Update here. It is 6:35. I'm Mike Ferguson. Gabe back in studio, still back in studio. Don't forget our podcast, our on-demand listening. If you haven't subscribed to that, please go ahead and do that. Matter of fact, this discussion we're about to have is going to be posted here just a few hours down the road here. And this is going to be something that's going to be really easy to send out to friends and opponents alike. You're going to need to hear why this is important. All right. Joined now by Congressman Eric Burlison, obviously out of Missouri. We know that. Now, Eric, you're on the DOGE subcommittee, which is excellent. I mean, this is fantastic. But we've got, kind of a drinking from the fire hose of headlines of all of the wasteful and ridiculous, and it would be funny if it weren't my tax dollars kind of thing that we're finding all the time. But at some point, we have to transition from shining the spotlight, which is what DOGE is doing, and then you all actually taking the scalpel and making these cuts happen. So as this subcommittee gets up and underway, and you just had the hearing on this, how big of a job are we actually talking about? Because I think a lot of people get caught up in the social media meme wars, and we risk forgetting this is very serious, very big work that's kind of resetting our relationship with government for the next who knows how many generations.
That's right. It is a big deal. And as you put it absolutely correctly, and whenever you opened up and you said that ultimately Congress has to be the ones to make the cuts. The history, if you go back to the Impoundment Control Act that was passed as a punishment to Richard Nixon because he was using impoundment in a way that Congress was frustrated. And so they passed a law, that forced the president to essentially spend everything they appropriated, which is crazy. If you think about it, in Missouri, as I was a Missouri lawmaker, the governor has the ability to withhold, right? If the governor or the president can find ways of saving money, we should embrace that and let the government, or if the president says, nope, this is not an appropriate spend. Look, we're $37 trillion in debt. Maybe, just maybe, it might be a good idea to put some restraint to the executive branch. So I'm whenever people ask me, would you sure you want to give up some Article 1 power to the president, give it to Article 2? When it comes to this fiscal situation that we're in, yes, I will. And so I would love for the president, and you're seeing that happen in the courts right now. He's being sued for these cuts that he's making. He wants to go to the courts and win. And because the Impoundment Control Act, a lot of people think is unconstitutional. But until that happens, and that'll take a long time, Congress has to act. And we have to pass these, we have to pass changes to the appropriations. We need to pass policy changes to actually adopt some of the spending cuts and the savings opportunities that DOGE has uncovered.
Good morning, Eric. Gabe Pfeiffer here. So help us do a little myth busting on what the left is talking about in terms of what DOGE can and can't do, or what they should and shouldn't be allowed to do, and maybe even some misunderstandings on the right about what role DOGE is actually playing in the administration's attempt to bring our fiscal house in order.
Yeah. Okay. So some of the myths, the DOGE, it is fully legal. You can create agencies by executive order. For example, the EPA was created by executive order. The Office of Management and Budget, OMB, was created by executive order. And the list goes on and on. So the president has full authority to create these agencies. In this circumstance, it's even more legit because he took an agency that was created by Barack Obama and just renamed it. So that's DOGE is a legitimate agency. The people that work under DOGE are employees. They're just not accepting a single payment. So they're not being paid. They want to have the appearance, not appearance. They want to demonstrate they're not there for selfish intent. They're there to save this country. And that's what Elon and his team are doing. They're working diligently. They have an office. They have credentials. They are an employee just like every other federal employee when it comes to their authority and their ability to get, but what they're not doing is, one of the myths is, they're just, this is all about getting data, getting access to your personal information. That is not the case. They're going through bank records. They're going through and looking where all everything that was sent out and what it was sent out for. So that's what they're trying to do. This is a forensic audit. It is a financial forensic audit that most corporations do on a regular basis to look for fraud. It's just that this is the first time the federal government is doing it, and everybody up here is freaking out.
Hey, good morning, Eric Stalponticus here. So with all the agencies that everyone's looking at, and with all the important work that DOGE is doing, you also have an eye on the ATF. Tell us a little bit about your interest in that and trying to abolish it.
Yeah, this is a duplicative agency. I just recently, in my hearing, I had an interesting moment. Just looking back through the history books, I found that I'm going to read you guys a quote if I can. This is a quote. It says, "We have to cut yesterday's government to help solve tomorrow's problems. We have reduced the size of government to its lowest levels in 30 years, but we must continue to cut waste, not opportunity." Who do you think said that?
I mean, that sounds like something that a Reagan type of person would say, but I don't know.
It was Bill Clinton.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
No way.
So
Right.
definitely not a Reagan type of person.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And when you look back, Bill Clinton and Al Gore, he gave Al Gore an assignment to look to find opportunities to cut waste. In fact, Al Gore is quoted as saying, "We need to reinvent government to make it smaller, less bureaucratic, and more responsive to the American people." Al Gore then said, "The era of big government is over. We must replace it with a government that is more flexible, more creative, and more entrepreneurial. By cutting waste and efficiency, we can ensure that tax dollars go where they are needed most without necessary bureaucracy." So I wanted to tell you this. So Gore presented to Clinton a plan, and in that plan included the elimination of several agencies, including the ATF. Okay, that was proposed by Democrats.
Wow.
By Bill, and Bill Clinton at the press conference said, "I will do every one of these." Now he didn't, but that's so I just wanted to present that to say that's where we're at today. The ATF has a horrible history. You go back to Ruby Ridge, they're the agency that basically it entrapped an individual to saw off a shotgun, and then went in on his property, killed his dog, his half of his family were shot, and then ultimately the ATF had to make a settlement and pay this guy millions of dollars for this mistake. You had the event that happened at Waco. Everybody saw that. It was on world stage. It's an absolute embarrassment, and the FBI had to clean it up. You had the Operation Fast and Furious, where the ATF mistakenly gave thousands of automatic, machine guns to the drug cartels in Mexico. You have the recent event. I mean, this event just literally happened last year, where the ATF went in and raided the home of an individual in Arkansas who was an upstanding community individual. This guy was an administrator at the local airport, and they went into his home, and he was unarmed. They shot him in the head because they believed that he was purchasing too many firearms. Okay, so this is an agency that it's duplicative in a lot of ways. They overlap, authority from the FBI, from U.S. Marshals, and then on the state level. Look, a lot of what the ATF does is they pass these unconstitutional rule changes, like banning the pistol braces. And then they come into the state of Missouri, and they come to our local sheriff, your local sheriff, or highway patrol, or police officers and say, hey, would you like to help us round up some pistol braces, right? And what they do is they entice them and they take them off their real objective, which is to enforce Missouri statutes and Missouri laws, and they take them on wild goose chases for their personal pet projects that are unconstitutional. And so I don't think it's a necessary agency. When people say, oh my goodness, you're going to eliminate law enforcement agency, how will people be safe? Explain to me how this agency makes you safe. Your sheriff is the one that's making you safe. Your police, your highway patrol. These guys are bureaucrats up here that are pushing a pencil and telling our local law enforcement what to do.
What's the status on how many co-sponsors you've got? I mean, I guess the big bottom line question here, we're visiting with Congressman Eric Burlison, is there an appetite to make such a big change, while they've got such a tumultuous, frenzy of politics happening right now? I mean, can this actually succeed?
So that's a good question. And let me, Mike, you and I have known each other for a long time.
Oh yeah.
When I first met you, I came in as a state representative in the Missouri House, and I sponsored a bill called constitutional carry. Okay. And everyone in the building, including the NRA lobbyists, said, oh, it's never going to happen. This is like, why are you wasting your time? After about 6 years of filing that bill, pushing it forward, having the argument, bringing the argument to my battle, to my field, if you will. After that, after a period of time, suddenly we built momentum and it became common sense to pass constitutional carry, and we did in 2016. So it's just my experience that you have to introduce these things and then start stirring the pot and get people to discuss it, and then people will come around to your line of thinking, and eventually you'll have enough momentum to pass. Yeah. If that gives you, but I'm trying to move the Overton window. And that's what this does. We're not doing, Mike, is we're not talking about red flag laws or other things that we're not debating what the left wants to debate, which is, some new law that takes away your firearm rights. We're talking about, could we even have the ATS? Let's have that debate and let's move the Overton window in that direction.
All right. Congressman Eric Burlison, man, appreciate the work you're doing right now. We're going to catch up with you again soon, but thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Eric.
All right. 314-912-1019. That's a great laying out. And he's right. The left is not getting anybody talking about gun control.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly right.
That's a great point.
This is how you do it. This is how you continue to move. Like you said, the Overton window. We have to keep pushing. Otherwise, the left is going to take advantage.
This is the time to do it as well. Right Absolutely. Here. All right. Got some thoughts? Let me know. 1019-941 News Talk STL.
Like us on Facebook at News Talk STL.
It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. She moves in mysterious ways.
Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning.
All right. She moves in mysterious ways.
The tides are changing.
St. Louis's new choice for conservative talk.
The Democratic Party doesn't stand with what I stand for.
News Talk STL.
Hungry for the best steak you'll ever have? Head to the heart of Moscow Mills and discover Harry J's, a local landmark and family-owned steakhouse, serving up excellence since '98. From mouth-watering appetizers to decadent desserts, Harry J's has something for everyone. Enjoy our extensive bar selection while soaking in our friendly family atmosphere. Whether dine-in or carry-out, your meal is prepared to perfection. Make the drive to 300 Main Street and treat yourself to a taste of Moscow Mills' finest. Harry J's, more than a steakhouse. We're a tradition.
Jamie Allman here, tossing and turning over retirement worries. You're not alone. 3 out of 4 Americans share your concern about having enough saved. But here's the thing. A comfortable retirement isn't out of reach, even if you're planning for 30 or 40 years ahead. Every day, Jeff Portman from the Gemini Wealth Group helps people avoid the critical mistakes that can derail their retirement. Build your path to financial confidence. Visit GeminiWealthGroup.com or call Jeff directly at 314-888-0123.
Securities and advisory services offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor. Member FINRA SIPC.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick, and it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And when you need more comfort for yourself, try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks vapors.
Use as directed. Vapo Stick for use ages 4 and up. Vapo Shower Max use for adults only.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. And now save 50% on the new Sleep Number limited edition smart bed. Plus free home delivery when you add a base. Ends Monday. Exclusively at a Sleep Number store near you. Learn more at sleepnumber.com.
This hour of Mike Ferguson in the Morning is brought to you by Stifel. Request a portfolio review from your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com.
Hi, it's Randy Tobler here. Pour a big cup of coffee and catch my show every Saturday morning from 6 to 9. Right now, it's back to Mike Ferguson in the Morning here on News Talk STL.
When you were before. All right. Donald Trump's plan to buy out federal workers moves forward. His use of executive orders has been really something fascinating.
Kind of masterful. Really.
Yeah, and the thing is that nobody's really looking at it that way. You're either pro-Trump the guy or anti-Trump the guy.
Yes.
And I think a lot of people are getting lost on this is really possibly a bigger reset than what people realize.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of the relationship between the states and the federal government, and the relationship with between the government and the people, I think there are a lot of things that are undergoing like a sea change right now. This has been the quietest revolution we've seen in a good long while.
Yeah, matter of fact, at 7:05, we're going to chat with Josiah Neely from the R Street Institute about that. About that. He has an interesting article that I found on, I think it was in the National, the National Interest, nationalinterest.org. And the article is called Second Time's the Charm, a review of the Trump administration's executive order on energy. So he's looking at that, but I want to ask him about some of the bigger picture stuff that's happening here, because this is a bigger deal than what people are realizing.
Mm-hmm.
We're caught up in the cartoon drama of it.
Oh, yeah.
But it's really bigger than that.
Yeah. I mean, right now we're just kind of watching the left be apoplectic weirdos and just crying over each other about the lack of transgender comic books.
Right. Well, now they've come back with reparations.
And then now, reparations is a new thing. And then, of course, it's like, how can you do this to federal workers after, everybody said, hey, if you're not going to get the vax, you shouldn't work in the government, and nobody cried for them. So it's been fascinating to watch all that stuff, but it pales in comparison to what I think the long-term effects of all this stuff is going to be.
So 7:05 is when that conversation happens. And a once powerful Illinois politician hears his verdicts in court. 6:54 right now. Let's dump a little bit of news on you here.
Wake up, America. It all worked out. They got all the news. The morning news dump.
All right. A jet slides off the taxiway at Lambert on Wednesday. Yeah. Airport officials say the United Regional jet had 27 people on board. Nobody was hurt. That 27 people includes the crew. So we're talking about a pretty small plane.
Yeah, it's a little...
Not just a puddle jumper, but like that little regional type jet there. The jet was operated by GoJet Airlines. They had just landed a little before 11 a.m. on its flight from Washington Dulles. We do not have the report yet regarding what caused that, but we will tell you that is when that wintry mix was falling in this part of the St. Louis region. All right, so in the Oval Office yesterday, this happened.
So help me God. So help me God.
Congratulations.
All right, that is U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi swearing in Tulsi Gabbard into her role as Director of National Intelligence. Donald Trump was there as well. And we've got more hearings today. Kash Patel has another hearing. I thought his hearing was done, but I guess we're going to have another one.
Yeah, I guess so.
RFK Jr. is basically one vote away now at this point from confirmation. My guess is that we may see that happen tomorrow, but I have not seen an actual confirmed schedule for that vote. The vote for cloture, basically the vote to move it to the final vote, was an exact party line vote, 53-47 in the U.S. Senate. So that's my guess is going to be where that happens. It's going to be probably a two vote margin. You know, who knows, McConnell or somebody may flip again, but it looks like he is probably headed towards confirmation as well.
Wow. Yeah.
Yep.
It's interesting because we were awaiting some of these as being the particularly contentious and on some level
has been, yeah.
that, you know, they certainly have been in terms of their the hearings, but these things are just moving through now.
Yes.
Which is interesting.
Yep.
I find that fascinating.
Yep. All right. A federal judge says President Trump's buyout plan for federal employees can move forward.
After pausing the deferred resignation program, U.S. District Judge George O'Toole Jr. cleared the way for the plan to downsize the federal workforce. The judge didn't rule on the legality of the so-called buyout, but found that the labor unions that sued didn't have legal standing to challenge the program. According to the White House, tens of thousands of workers have taken the government up on its offer to resign now and get paid through September. Greg Clugston, Washington.
All right. Once considered the most powerful politician in Illinois' history, former Democratic Speaker of the House Michael Madigan is now convicted of federal bribery and wire fraud charges. Madigan was convicted on 10 counts. He was acquitted on 7 other counts, and the jury was unable to reach verdicts in 6 other counts. Madigan was the state speaker of the House for over 30 years and spawned basically a political empire.
Yes.
Over his time in office. I mean, you just didn't really mess with Michael Madigan over his time, you know, and he's from part of Chicago, and he ran the machine. I mean, he ran the state party. He ran the whole state. Didn't need to be governor to be the most powerful guy in the state.
Yeah, pretty much created a little empire there, a little fiefdom.
Yeah, pretty much. And even like with his daughter ended up being elected attorney general. So, yeah, what's going to happen to him? Well, he's going to get sentenced to prison. We'll see whether or not he serves any time, because I think he's in his, early 80s still, something like that.
He is elderly.
He's pretty up there. So
Illinois tradition, though, you know.
That's right. Throw him in jail. Yep.
When it comes to spending your tax dollars and teaching your kids, governments and school districts should be an open book. But in Missouri, that's not always the case. Recently, the Show Me Institute sent out a sunshine law request to school districts across the state, asking for information on whether certain topics are being taught. Specifically, a controversial one called critical race theory was included in the list. Many districts didn't respond. Some wanted to charge large fees to process the documents. Lee's Summit outside Kansas City wanted over $35,000. A rural district, Morgan County, wanted $15,000. The Sunshine Law does allow charging a reasonable fee for sending out information, but there's nothing reasonable about $35,000 or $15,000. These districts should want to be transparent about their curriculums. Taxpayers deserve to know what their kids are being taught. Learn more at showmeinstitute.org. The Show Me Minute has been brought to you by Show Me Institute and Show Me Opportunity.
Tony Colombo here for the Farmers Co-op Old Town Country Store in Old Town St. Peters, where they have a huge selection of products and services for your yard and home, including a full line of lawn and garden products, a full line of products for animal care, and that includes anything from livestock to the family dog or cat. They'll fill any size propane tank for about half the price of a new one, and so much more. Visit them in St. Peters on 2nd Street, right behind the QT at 70 and Mid-Rivers Mall Drive, and check out all their products and services at oldtowncountrystore.com.
Sundays at 5 on News Talk STL.
All your hard-earned tax dollars and mine are going to fund illegal aliens who come across the border penniless, jobless, skillless, and they're given a cell phone, an identity, and a cash stipend every month.
Mark McCloskey on fire.
That beats your Social Security income if you should have the good nature to work your ass off your whole life and retire.
Mark McCloskey on fire. Sundays at 5 on News Talk STL.
Brought to you in part by Modern Weapon Systems in Fenton.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Belfast, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. 3 more Israeli hostages are apparently on the verge of going home. Hamas says it will free the captives on Saturday as part of the Gaza ceasefire deal. President Trump says he'll name names later today when he details where wasted taxpayer dollars have been going.
Billions and billions of dollars being thrown away illegally. And there's no chance. I mean, I say it in front of our Attorney General. There's no chance that there's not kickbacks or something going on.
A Boston federal judge allowing Mr. Trump's federal worker buyout plan to move ahead, lifting a temporary restraining order that blocked the plan. The Trump administration is telling Ukraine to give up territory that's been claimed by Russia.
In a reversal of U.S. policy, Defense Secretary Hegseth said Ukraine should abandon its push to reclaim all Russian-occupied territory.
Returning to Ukraine's pre-2014 borders is an unrealistic objective.
President Trump is launching negotiations with Russia to end the war, but the White House is already rejecting one of Ukraine's desired outcomes. Greg Clugston, Washington.
California is bracing for an atmospheric river. The National Weather Service's Andrew Orison says could unleash flooding.
For areas of Southern California in particular, because of some of the recent wildfire activity, we've got these burn scars that are in place, and they're going to be very, very sensitive to the heavy rainfall that will be coming in. And so there will be concerns for flash flooding around these burn scar areas, even away from them.
Portland, Oregon, treating its streets with thousands of gallons of liquid de-icer. And emergency shelters are open in Oregon as well as Idaho ahead of an expected snow and ice storm. On Wall Street this morning, the Dow futures are down 24 points. NASDAQ futures off 4. More on these stories at townhall.com.
No, you're really not stuck, really. People think when it comes to paying for health care, they just have to kind of go along with the way it is, no matter how frustrated they are with it. But it's not true. MediShare has been a huge help to people for 30 years now. And more these days, especially, people are realizing what a great alternative it is. And the difference isn't just the savings, which are huge. It's the whole thing. You're a part of something good. It's a community of people who care for and pray for and encourage each other. You don't have to pay for things you don't believe in either. You're actually sharing. And yeah, back to the savings, often up to $500 a month with MediShare. The customer service is refreshing too because they're for you. It's just a different way. And even though you might feel stuck with the frustrating status quo, it's not so. You can call them now and start saving and feeling better about how you're doing it too. Here's the number. It's 844-41-BIBLE. That's 844-41-BIBLE. 844-41-BIBLE.
From the Michael's Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
It's all about the cold today, even with the clearing sky this morning and loads of sunshine this afternoon. High temps only jump to about 28 degrees. That's almost 20 degrees colder than normal for this time of year. Got wind chills in the single digits this morning, teens this afternoon. Clear, cold, but calm tonight, down to 15 at St. Louis. And for Valentine's Day, increasing cloudiness up to about 40 in the afternoon. Some showers breaking out after about 7 p.m. with on and off rain for Saturday. At your First Alert forecast, I'm meteorologist Matt Shane.
This hour of News Talk STL, brought to you by Jewels on Hampton, paying some of the highest prices for your gold, silver, diamonds, and more. Call 314-752-5000 or visit jewelsonhampton.com.
Attention St. Charles, looking for a local spot that satisfies all your cravings? Mario's Donut Restaurant is your place to go for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. From mouth-watering sandwiches and omelets to delicious gyros, Mexican dishes, salads, and wraps, we've got it all. And don't forget our famous donuts. They're so good, they'll make your eyes glaze over. Dine in or carry out. Our friendly staff is ready to serve you with love and care. Mention News Talk STL when you visit. Call 636-447-4515 or visit mariosdonutrestaurant.com.
News Talk STL is proud to have Doug Voss of Safe Money Radio as part of our lineup each week. Doug has been a staple on the St. Louis radio airwaves for many years as one of the leading financial experts in the area. You can now hear Doug and Safe Money Radio 3 times every weekend on News Talk STL. But in case you miss anything, you can check it all out at DougVossSafeMoneyRadio.com. You could also reach Doug at 844-6766. That's 844-676-7233.
Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through DHL Securities, LLLP. Member FINRA and SIPC.
This hour of Mike Ferguson in the Morning brought to you by Window World. Simply the best for less. 314-993-1800 or visit windowworld.com. Mike Ferguson.
You play ball like a girl!
Gabe Pfeiffer.
I triple dog dare you! Get up! Can't you hear the alarm?
Get up, St. Louis.
So it's time to get out of bed. Pour yourself the greatest cup of Kofifi the world has ever seen. Rise up with one voice, drain the swamp, and take back our country. Today's the day we're going to do it, and it's time to do it right now, believe me.
Mike Ferguson in the Morning on News Talk STL.
Get up! This is your cousin.
Obviously, there have been massive changes. For those of us in the media, it's been almost difficult to keep up with all of the things that are changing because of the Trump administration. And right now, that's through the use of executive orders. Some things are new initiatives by President Trump. Others are undoing what happened during the Biden administration. So we've got two things to cover here in the next few minutes. One, what are the policy implications? In other words, how is this going to change your life? And secondly, what's next beyond the executive orders? Because how it's being done matters to some degree, just like what's being done. We'll make sense of that here in just a second. I'm Mike Ferguson. I am now joined by the R Street Institute's Josiah Neely, where he's a resident senior fellow specializing in energy and environment. Josiah, appreciate you being on the show here. Energy in particular, one of the things that Donald Trump campaigned on, and I'm convinced one of the reasons he was elected, was his promise to undo a lot of the energy policies of the Biden administration. Unleash American energy has been kind of his catchphrase. And in these first few weeks of his presidency, he's relied on a lot of executive orders to get this and other things done. So let me start with some of the changes that are being made through the executive orders. And then I want to talk about those because I think you've got a really interesting point in your piece that you just published here. When it comes to what's changing that can be done by an executive order, what are some of the things that we are likely to notice and be affected by first?
Yeah. So first off, thank you for having me. And I think the biggest immediate change, executive orders, these are things that presidents have used since back to the beginning of the country, but it's become more and more prominent over time. And the Trump administration, the second Trump administration, really right out of the gate, as we've all seen, has really relied heavily on these executive orders to do a lot of things. And of course, the first thing that any administration, when they come in, they do is they look at executive orders from the prior administration, see which ones of those they want to get rid of. So some of the biggest changes, I would say, has to do with repealing some of the Biden administration policies that were done versus executive orders. So, for example, there was a pause. The Biden administration did a pause on permitting for natural gas export facilities. There's been a lot of demand for natural gas in Europe because of the war in Ukraine, other things like that. And we have a lot of natural gas here, so we wanted to build export facilities to sell that gas abroad. And the Biden administration had hit pause on that, said we're not permitting any more stuff. Trump administration, that's gone. Those can be permitted again. Another big one has to do with electric vehicles. The Biden administration did something. It's called an electric vehicle mandate. Really, I can go into the technicalities of how it works, but the idea was that by the year 2030, which is 6 years from now, half of all vehicle sales in the U.S. were going to be electric vehicles. For point of comparison, last year, 11% of new car sales in the U.S. were electric vehicles. So that was a major forcing. It was expected to cost, I think, $870 billion. That's gone. And so those are examples. There's some other stuff that was gotten rid of from the Biden administration as well. But that, I think, in terms of size impact, that's a big category right there. Just things that the Biden administration tried to do without Congress, and now you have another president. Trump comes in, he said, no, we're getting rid of all that costly regulation.
I want to follow up with what you just said there without Congress, because if my memory serves correctly, the first time I heard somebody say stroke of the pen law of the land was during the Clinton administration, and maybe I'm remembering a different one. But when it comes to these regulations, these mandates, these sound, Josiah, an awful lot like laws. So
Yes.
if we have something with the force and effect of law, but without Congress, without going through that kind of process, is it less permanent? Does it affect us in a different way? Because I'll be really honest, I don't want that kind of instability where one person gets elected and changes everything without some sort of deliberative process. But I know there are things that are legitimately managed and regulated by executive orders. What's the healthy way and the right way to do that and the wrong way to do that?
Yeah. So I think, as we all probably learned in school, in school, we learned that you had Congress or the legislature, which is supposed to make the laws. And then you have the executive branch, which is supposed to implement or enforce the laws. And the reality is that, at least for the last 50 years, you could go back even further than that, Congress has passed a lot of broad-based legislation, right? So it will say, we want to achieve X, Y, and Z goal with the environment, for example. We want clean air, we want clean water. But if you read the statute, it doesn't specify exactly how you get that. It sets up some agency, the Environmental Protection Agency, or maybe it's the Securities and Exchange Commission, whatever it is, and it gives them regulatory authority, and it gives the president, in some cases, regulatory authority to kind of fill in the details, right? Or do it one way versus another. So that, I would submit, is itself a kind of problem that Congress has to some extent abdicated its authority in doing that. But then even beyond that, I think what you've seen is presidencies, since there's kind of like that's an opening. It's created an opening for executive action, and presidents, because it's so much harder to get things through Congress than to just, sign your name. They have increasingly tried to get a little creative about how much they can do through executive orders. And then, in some cases, this stuff gets litigated in the courts, and the judges have to decide whether they have exceeded their authority or whether they had the authority for that. That's happening now with some of the Trump era executive orders. And it happened with Biden. I think some of his executive actions, if he or Kamala Harris had won the last election, some of those would have gone away anyway because the courts would have invalidated them. But this is, I think, there's the way the process is supposed to work, and then there's the way it actually does work, and those are quite different, especially in recent times.
The article that Josiah has recently published from Josiah Neely from the R Street Institute, a review of the Trump administration's executive order on energy. And we'll tell you where you can find that in just a minute. We've got about a minute and a half or so left, Josiah. One thing that you did mention in there is that there could be some pitfalls that could be avoided if the president, and by extension, the federal government, were to rely more on market forces. Give me about a 60-second primer on what that means of relying on market forces, particularly when it comes to energy.
Yeah, sure. I would describe it at a high level. It's about, if you want your kids to eat right, you're more likely to be successful if you can find tasty foods that they like that are healthy for them, as opposed to just trying to constantly force them to eat something that you think is good for them, but that they don't like, right? There's going to be resistance to that if it's something that they don't like. So the thing that is good about the market is when it comes up with some cheaper, cleaner energy source, for example, everybody's going to want to adopt that, not only here, but in other countries. And it doesn't, that desire for cheaper, cleaner energy is going to continue regardless of who is president. One problem with the executive actions is, aside from like the idealistic, this is, not the way things are supposed to be, executive actions presidents turn to them because they're easier than getting stuff through Congress. But for the same reason, they're easy to repeal. We're just seeing that now with Biden. His orders are gone because Trump came in. Biden got rid of Trump's orders. Trump got rid of some of Biden's orders, and whoever comes next might get rid of some of Trump's orders, unless he's able to go to Congress and get them enacted into law, which will get himself some more security for that. So that I would say, my takeaway, I think a lot of the specifics of this Trump energy order are good. There's a lot of deregulatory aspects. There's a lot of attempts to rely more on the market to achieve ends, which is good. But if it wants to be, if President Trump wants it to be sustainable long term, he needs to not just stay with executive orders. He's got to go and try and get that through, get his agenda through Congress and create more long-term stability and regulation that way.
All right. And we find your article and the work that you do where?
So my most recent article is at the National Interest. So you can find it there. And you can also find pretty much everything that I write at rstreet.org. That's letter rstreet.org, which is the name of the place that I work for.
All right, Josiah Neely, appreciate the insight. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
All right, I think Josiah makes a really, really good point in that if you want to make your agenda more permanent as president, you've got to get Congress to pass those, but that's hard to do. At the same time, executive orders are getting to the point of replacing law, which violates the checks and balances and really threatens that constitutional order. And the Biden administration was just hideous about that. So once the extent of the executive order authority is reached, Congress is going to have to get to work and start following up with those more permanent solutions or decisions. What do you think? 314-912-1019. This is 1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
We give you news, analysis, opinion, and more. Only on News Talk STL.
Try to make me stop. Inspiration, you have the soul sewn down, it is no more. And all at once depart, no destination, making cold my heart to fight your war. Stop it right now.
Get up. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning.
To your indifference. Stop it right now before you blow us all away. You wanna do that now? Get up, and can't you hear the alarm? Get up, this is your cousin. Get up, what are you waiting for? Get up, get up.
The Allman Report.
Hey, Thursday, the wisdom of Judge Napolitano on the Allman Report. Thursday, the Allman Report, News Talk STL.
Jamie Allman, weeknights at 8 on News Talk STL.
To our brave police officers and first responders, we say thank you for risking your lives to protect us. To all the incredible volunteers who've joined hands with the David Dorn Foundation to raise funds for equipment and services, we extend our heartfelt gratitude. We stand strong with our volunteers who give their time, talent, and dedication as a shield of support for those who rush into danger. The David Dorn Foundation gives a big thank you from our heart to yours. Visit dornfoundation.com and join as a volunteer.
The Vic Porcelli Show.
The one and only Karen Catalina.
That's not always a bad thing not to be a mensch.
Oh.
Sometimes you're a little bit of a rabble-rouser. It depends.
Yeah,
you are a mensch. You're a mensch, but, you know.
I think you could be.
Because he's a mensch.
Because I'm a mensch, okay?
You know, 2 Jews, 3 opinions. It depends.
All right.
So a mensch is a gentleman, to be a gentleman.
That's me then. Come on. Yeah, that's him, Karen.
Vic Porcelli, live and local, weekday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL.
Is your biggest life decision just around the corner? For over 30 years, Jim Mull of Caldwell Banker Gundaker has turned real estate dreams into reality. More than just a realtor, Jim is your personal advocate, armed with unmatched market expertise and negotiating prowess. Whether you're searching for the perfect home or selling your property for top dollar, Jim and his dedicated team deliver results you can trust. Call 314-280-7878 or visit jimmole.com today.
Hello, fans of the paranormal. I'm Frankie, host of the newest show on News Talk STL, On a Garage, and we'll be discussing everything paranormal, From ghosts, demons, hauntings, and aliens to Skinwalker, Bigfoot, fairies, and the Chupacabra. Every Saturday night between 9 p.m. and 10 p.m., me and Jeremy will discuss mysterious events in St. Louis and surrounding areas, including gateway families and unsolved true crimes. That's right. It's all right here exclusively on News Talk STL from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. every Saturday night.
Hey, thank you very much for taking my call.
News, analysis, opinion.
Yes, I just want you to know what a breath of fresh air you people are.
101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Hi, this is Aaron Dorr. Check out my show, Shall Not Be Infringed, Sunday nights at 9. But now it's more of Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
On the Rumble chat box, Amy says Congress should immediately follow Trump's executive orders with legislation. I can't understand why they don't do this automatically, especially on topics that are politically popular.
Yeah, my suspicion is that because of the limited political capital, they're going to try to fit as much of that stuff into like a single omnibus as they can.
Yeah.
And they're going to tie it to funding for the government essentially and dare the Democrats to shut down the government in order to stop it.
Yeah, could be. So yeah, that's an interesting point, because the reality is the things that can be done by executive order is one category. But let's not abdicate that congressional authority over to the executive if it should be in Congress. Because remember, I keep saying what I'm starting to see is all of this sort of unfolds, and it's hard to see at the moment because there's the haze going on of everything, the drinking from the fire hose. And, literally we're probably at hundreds of executive orders at this point.
Easily.
I mean, so it's hard to see, but this is a big reset. And also keep in mind, every time that we cheer an executive order that we like, remember, if it's not done right, you're setting a precedent for the guy or the woman that you don't like setting an executive order in the next administration.
Well, and even if it's done the way you like it and it's done and it's something that you like, it can be reversed in the next administration unless there's legislation behind it.
Right, precisely. All right, 7:22 right now. More confirmation hearings are on the way. I've got to correct myself on something here in just a second, because there is one that's about to start in about 2 hours here. By the way, have a drink or two or three, whatever works for you. Or four. Let somebody else drive and support those who serve at the same time. We're going to tell you how to do that at 7:35.
All right.
Yeah, let's do that. All right, so I got a correction here real quick. The final confirmation vote for RFK Jr. starts at about 9:30 our time.
Okay.
US Senate.
So it's coming fast.
Yeah, because I was scrambling and I couldn't find the actual schedule, and I don't know why my search wasn't bringing that up. But it turns out it's literally starting in about just a little bit over 2 hours. The whole thing will probably take about 30 or 40 minutes by the time both sides are, sort of done bloviating. Susan Collins has said she's going to vote for RFK Jr., which was probably the key vote.
Yeah.
That means he's going to get confirmed. You all know what I think of him, so there's no sense in regurgitating that debate. I think he's a terrible choice, but that's who's going to be into the office, and we'll see whether he does a job or not. So
curious how it's going to work out.
At this point, then I just hope that he proves me wrong. I hope that I have to come on the air and say that I was wrong. That's the best case scenario, and then he leaves his extremism and his left-wingism behind, and he does the job that he's supposed to do, and he doesn't do it in a big government way, but we'll see.
Fingers crossed.
See how that goes. All right, like I said, 7:23 right now. Okay, so we saw another interesting story that kind of popped up here in just the last little bit. AOC. AOC is now using her office, and she was putting on, I guess, for lack of a better term, a webinar.
Yeah, essentially.
To teach people in her district how to deal with ICE. So if ICE comes looking for the illegals, she was giving a how-to, basically had some lawyers do up PowerPoints and show how to deal with ICE. And I was looking over a couple of the screens that she'd put out there, and there were things like, don't give false documents. Okay, so that's fine.
Well, yeah.
Right. But she's using her office to try to help people hide from ICE. And yesterday, before you guys were back, we were talking, Jerome and I were talking about this, is that in St. Louis, there's an organization, a pro-illegal immigrant organization, that set up a hotline that says, if you see ICE or you hear about ICE being in town, let us know. And so we can start warning everybody.
Right. Yeah. See, all of this stuff says something to me. Because, as much as, one of her videos starts, it's, my community is a heavily immigrant community, and ICE raids, deeply affect and disrupt our community. Those two things should not be, together, unless there's a lot of illegal aliens among your community. See, because that's the one thing. The conflation is just so ingrained in the way they speak about this issue that it's synonymous.
And lies of omission.
It's the lies of omission. And also I think it's specifically intended to create the fear in the immigrant community by conflating. Just like, okay,
I mean, the left is trying to create
yes,
fear. Exactly.
The left is trying to create fear in the legal immigrant community because of raids against illegal aliens. That's what they're trying to do, and they keep trying to tie them together. I'll say this: all of the legal immigrants I know hate illegal aliens.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They hate them.
That's been my experience. If you really want to talk to somebody who really is angry about illegal immigration, talk to somebody who did it right.
Right. Exactly.
Talk to somebody who did it in a way that respects our nation, because even if it was difficult, even if it was expensive, they were then shown the respect by this country.
Absolutely.
For the most part.
Yeah, for real. And what ends up happening then, because of the way the Democrats conflate that, I suppose there is then a portion of legal immigrants who are afraid of dealing with an ICE agent because they think they're going to, they're going to find something wrong. They don't like me because I'm brown, and they're going to try to send me away, and they're going to disrupt this whole thing that I've been working on for years and spending all this money on. That's the fear that the Democrats keep trying to force, I think, into this conversation. But then on top of that, you have the discussions about and what we were just talking about, the warnings being levied to try and protect the illegal aliens who are hiding amongst the legal aliens,
because that's become a virtue signal on the left.
It is.
It's for some reason this particular illegality has become their banner. This has become their virtue signal, that we're going to protect them, and they praise the left-wing church that hides the illegals. But a substitute illegal alien for somebody suspected of any other crime, and why would we tolerate somebody who says, "Oh, we're going to hide you from the cops"?
Right.
And I don't know what it is about this particular issue that animates those on the left so much. This should be an issue that across the spectrum, people can go, well, yeah, of course you shouldn't be allowed to come into the country, illegally.
Yeah.
Especially when we have the most generous, immigration policy in the world of all the civilized, industrialized countries, which we do. We take in more legal immigrants. We take in more asylum seekers, legitimate asylum seekers, than the rest of the world combined. And so the idea that this has become an ideologically polarizing thing says to me that somebody's right and somebody's wrong.
Yes. Yeah. Well, and it gets even worse when you look back at the at some of the historical rhetoric that has come from the Democrats and the left, just 10 years ago, 10, 15, 20 years ago. You look at some of their candidates and they were talking about, Barack Obama was talking about securing the border, right? And you look at the number of deportations he had during his tenure, and it was pretty significant. Bill Clinton was talking about securing the border and how you can't just walk across the border and claim asylum and just do whatever the heck you want. We have laws, and we're a nation of laws, and blah blah blah. But now you've got elected officials, with the D behind their name, who are saying, okay, this is how you evade ICE. Whoa. What has happened?
And now we've got the Attorney General basically filing civil lawsuits against entire states and cities, Illinois, Chicago, New York, because they will not. It's not even that they won't cooperate. It's that they are trying to impede the federal government's ability to enforce the law. And so on one hand, my gut reaction is, okay, good. Also keep in mind though, someday there's going to be a left-wing government in the White House, and I want the state to be able to stand strong against some left-wing overreach.
True.
So let's make sure that we do it the right way.
Yes. We don't want to completely blow up the 10th Amendment in
Right.
order to make sure that the federal government can enforce immigration law.
Right.
But
because it'll be the Second Amendment next time.
Yes, it'll be the Second Amendment that's going to be at issue.
yeah.
There's going to be some crazy left-wing law that the feds are going to want to enforce. There are going to be essentially sanctuary cities and not cities, but sanctuary states.
Yeah.
The red states are going to say, no, you can't do that here because we believe the Constitution means what it says. And then there's going to be a lawsuit.
Remember, checks and balances isn't just the president putting a check on Congress, Congress putting a check on the president, on the Supreme Court or the judicial system in general, putting a check on. The checks and balances system is also federal to state.
Yes, absolutely.
And state to federal.
Mhm.
The states created the federal government, not the other way around. And so remember, those checks and balances are very, very delicate. So I want to see those checks and balances used right.
Yes.
And I do think Pam Bondi is onto something by filing these charges, because I think it's probably, it's probable, I should say, that the state is violating federal law knowingly, possibly criminally, not just civilly, but criminally. So just make sure that we're doing it right and we're not getting caught up in the moment, and that we recognize that what we're seeing right now is a massive reset on how we view government, how government views us, and how government, frankly, views itself. That's the legacy we're looking at being unfolded in the next 3.5 years. All right, 7:31 right now. Let's have some fun. Let's do that.
Okay, let's.
Our buddy Mark Schmitz from the freedom13.org. He has sacrificed more than any of us can possibly comprehend for this country with the death of his son, Lance Corporal Jared Schmitz. Well, Mark's going to be with us because there's going to be a party next week, and you are invited. We're going to tell you how to be involved in it because it is helping those who have served.
For podcast articles and more, find us on newstalkstl.com. Get up. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
It's all about the cold today, even with the clearing sky this morning and loads of sunshine this afternoon. High temps only jumped to about 28 degrees. That's almost 20 degrees colder than normal for this time of year. Got wind chills in the single digits this morning, teens this afternoon. Clear, cold, but calm tonight, down to 15 in St. Louis. And for Valentine's Day, increasing cloudiness up to about 40 in the afternoon. Some showers breaking out after about 7 p.m. with on and off rain for Saturday. At your first alert forecast, I'm meteorologist Matt Shades.
John Beal knows that winter can be really hard on your roof. You get ice, then melting, more ice, maybe snow, melting, more ice, sleet, snow. In time, those shingles have had it. Then you get spring rains, thunderstorms. A word of advice: this is a good time to check the roof before you have real issues. Call my friend John, 1-800-NEW-ROOF, 1-800-NEW-ROOF.
Larry Connor's commentary, brought to you by Vincent's Jewelers. Valentine's is coming, and Vincent's has lab-grown diamonds. Give the gift that outlasts flowers, chocolates, or dinner. Vincent'sJewelers.com. This is Larry Connor's commentary on News Talk STL.
You hear the word hospital or clinic, you believe this is where you go to get needed health care. But when it comes to the Cleveland Clinic, you might want to think twice. The Cleveland Clinic was founded in 1921, listed as an American nonprofit academic medical center based in Ohio. But it's expanding, now in Florida. Bad idea. There's a group in Florida pushing a campaign calling the clinic the wokest hospital in America. Opponents stating in ads, attention Floridians, Cleveland Clinic just opened a sex change clinic in your backyard. Now, that ad refers in part to the Cleveland Clinic CEO. He says, we do provide high-quality health care, but it's only part of our mission. And then adds, we have an obligation to uplift the many communities. We must operate in ways that would embrace diversity. There you go. There you go. That says it all, doesn't it? Yes, they can treat health needs, but they're also opening to transforming children, affirming care for transgenders. Whatever happened to first, do no harm?
Get more Larry Connors on Larry Connors USA.
Tonight at 6 on News Talk STL.
Tony Colombo here, reminding you to visit my friends at Bluff City Outdoors in Alton before your next trip into the great outdoors. For decades, Bluff City Outdoors has covered all the needs for area fishermen, and they'll always have all the best bait, tackle, and gear for your next trip on the water. And now they cover all your bow hunting needs, including their state-of-the-art indoor archery range and techno hunt system, open every day for you to come shoot, or you can join a league. Follow Bluff City Outdoors on Facebook and learn more at bluffcityoutdoors.com.
From starter home to stepping stone, Mama Bear makes this journey her own. With rays that shine and care so true, your home alone dreams are coming through.
Hey parents, remember when your Cubs took their first steps? Well, now they're ready for their biggest step yet, buying a home. Just like you're there to guide them, Mama Bear Mortgage is here to protect their journey into homeownership. Call me today at 314-775-1026 or visit mamabearmortgage.com.
Missouri NMLS 2557717.
Hey everybody, this is Elizabeth Kaiser. Please join me on my new show, Straight Lines with Elizabeth Kaiser.
On News Talk STL.
You know the world today. People seem to be rooted more firmly in diverse ideologies more than ever.
SR1 Sundays.
Why is that? You know, the shortest distance between 2 points of view is a straight line. Straight Lines with Elizabeth Kaiser. Debuts January 19th
at 8 p.m.
right here on 1019 941 News Talk STL.
If you find yourself feeling out of place in the world, it's comforting to know conservative values haven't been abandoned everywhere.
The far left wants to destroy conservative values in America.
This is News Talk STL. Welcome home. Love the music you hear on the morning show? Check out Mike's morning music playlist at newstalkstl.com.
All right. Party with great people and support those who serve.
Hey, that sounds great.
Sounds like a great time to me. We're going to tell you how to do it. All right. Also, Flashback Friday. Send in your 80s bump music requests today because we're going to do Flashback Friday, even though Stella and Gabe have been out all week. But you're back now. But that means you got some catching up to do there.
We're ready.
We're ready.
We're ready.
Yep. Send in your request, though.
We'll fill in the scorecard with your request. If it fits, we'll do it.
All right. 7:37 right now, going on 7:38. I'm Mike Ferguson. Gabe's back. Stell's back. Good to have the band back together here. Joined now by Mark Schmitz from thefreedom13.org. And, Mark, we've all the things we've talked about over, the last couple of years since we've connected. There's a lot of hard work that the Freedom 13 is doing with the camps and the retreats that you're setting up. And, obviously the work that you've done, with Donald Trump, both pre and post election. But we're talking about some partying coming up next week. And that is crucial to remind everybody that you get to live life even when you're doing the hard work that comes out of tragedy. So you've got a pub crawl coming up. I want to start with that. And this just sounds, Mark and I were talking on the phone the other day, and I'm just like, man, this sounds like a heck of a lot of fun right here. We're talking about buy your ticket. We're talking about taking some flights, or not flights, but tours, with the buses and doing a good old fashioned pub crawl, and somebody else is doing the driving. Man, what's this going to entail?
Well, as many of you already know, Jared was 20 years old when he died in Afghanistan during the withdrawal, but he didn't even get a chance to purchase his first beer legally. So my wife and I decided right then and there we were going to honor his 21st birthday and have a pub crawl. Well, it was such a huge success. We're now on our 4th year, and we're going to do it again. His birthday is February 25th. The closest Saturday is this coming February 22nd, not this weekend, but next weekend. And we're going to continue the success that the pub crawl has been for us, and it's a great money fundraiser for us as well, and obviously to honor his birthday. But we've gotten some feedback over the last 3 years, and people have been asking for transportation to be provided, or at least have that as an option. So this year we actually have 5 buses that we've enlisted, and 2 of them will be up here in the St. Charles County area, and then 3 of them will be down south, as far south as Perryville. Then we have one in DeSoto, and we have one in High Ridge. For those people that want to be able to just tour these different bars safely, go from place to place without having to worry about driving and worrying about DWIs. Obviously, we want everybody to be safe and but have a great time and celebrate Jared's birthday.
Morning, Mark. Dave Pfeiffer here. So how do people participate? They got to buy tickets, or they can just jump on the bus, or how does it work?
Yeah, you can try to just jump on like, hey, me too, but that's not how it works.
That's not how it works. Okay, all right.
So in the north area, you can go directly to Mascots, which is in St. Peter's, or Sabre St. Charles, which is on Main Street in St. Charles. You can purchase your bus tickets right there, or you can go online to thefreedom13.org, and you can purchase those tickets online. If you're down in the south, you would want to pop into the Perryville VFW post 4282 in Perryville, or the DeSoto VFW post 1831 in DeSoto, or Johnny's Hideout in High Ridge. And you can purchase your tickets in person at those locations. Again, people can still go support these participating bars in person as well by their own vehicle. That's not a problem. And some people just show up at lunchtime and plant roots, and they just stay in one location, which is fine too. But we wanted to have 13 bars up north and 13 bars down south. And of course the demand is higher than that. So we actually have more than 26 total bars, but we wanted to kind of make it a friendly competition between the north and the south and see, which territory could raise more funds, because at the end of the day, that's what this is all about. But we have merchandise that we're selling. We have our pub crawl t-shirts and hoodies. You can buy those online while supplies last. We have brand new koozies, which are universal koozies. They're metal. They're fantastic. A brand new design for that. And it's got all 13 that we lost that day on one side, and the Freedom 13 with a silhouette of a soldier on the other side. And then we have a 21 gun raffle going on as well. People can purchase a chance for $20. You get 20 chances to win one of 20 different guns. We've already given one away. We have to sell 1,000 tickets, and once that's done, we will hold the drawing. And if you happen to win a gun, your winning ticket actually goes back in the hat, and you get a chance to win again. So wow. a lot of moving parts, a lot of fun, but we're looking forward to it. And of course, singing happy birthday to Jared everywhere we go.
Yeah, and that was one of the most, I don't know why it stuck out at me after the tragedy in Afghanistan that happened, but there were a number of bars and there were a number of places that had basically, they kept a table open and they had a drink for everybody on there, the 13. And I don't know why that jumped out at me, other than, man, we're talking about such a young life that sacrificed everything. I know, Mark, this can't get easier for you, but the fact that you're able to have some fun while honoring Jared and building the work in his name as well has got to at least feel good for you and your loved ones.
Well, yeah. Anytime we're out, I mean, my wife and I participate, of course, and we try to hit as many places as we can, and just to have people come up to us and wish Jared a happy birthday, it means the world to us. The community has always been so strong and supportive since the beginning. So granted, it's a somber but happy day as well. You take it for what it is, and you embrace the love that the community gives you. So, at the end of the day, it's all about honoring him and the other 12 that perished that day. And then that's why we've created the foundation that we created, to help their brothers and sisters that are still here with us. And, there's a lot of birthdays all around the same time too. There's been quite a few. Even Tyler Vargas Andrews, the sniper that lost an arm and a leg, just had a birthday the other day too. But it's weird how many of the 13 are all born and within about 3 months of each other.
Now, the proceeds all go to the Freedom 13 veteran retreat, right? And
that's correct.
And so I have to ask then, how's progress working on getting that first set done?
Yeah, it's been a minute since I've talked to you. We purchased our first camp down in Bourbon, Missouri. It's 171 acres. It's gorgeous property down there. There's 2 houses already on property, so we have 11 more to build. 3 barns, stock fishing lake. There's about 4 miles of riding trails. It's just a great piece of ground. So this will be camp number 1, and we are. Well, I just got back from DC and got to rub elbows with a lot of who's and big philanthropy types, and I have a feeling that we're going to be moving at a very fast pace here soon.
All right.
We love the continued support from the local community, and we've created a $13 a month campaign to make it real simple for people to be part of something bigger, but without breaking the bank. So, we encourage everybody out there to sign up to at least donate $13 a month. Once you sign up, you don't have to do it again, and you can cancel anytime. But that's what's going to keep, the operational costs paid for. We need about 3,000 people doing the $13 a month campaign to make this thing work. And then we'll rely on huge, corporate donors and big philanthropy types to fund the major part of the project. So, we're looking as soon as earliest at the end of this year, maybe upwards of 18 months or so to get Camp 1 done. But we are definitely going to be reaching out to corporate sponsors to, start either swinging hammers or help financially. But we're going to need everything from windows to shingles to you name it. But we're excited. I mean, this is really starting to start moving in the right direction.
All right, and we just put the link to the freedom13.org up on the Rumble chat box. And Gabe, do we have that up on the other social media as well?
I'm about to put
that up there as well,
Facebook and Twitter.
And so on the pub crawl itself that's coming up, what's the ticket cost? Because this is great because basically you're getting a really efficient chauffeur to take you from place to place to place, and you can just party all you want.
Yeah, and you can bring a cooler on the bus too, which even makes it better. It's $30 per ticket up here, and then I believe it's $30 per ticket for DeSoto and High Ridge, and then VFW Perryville actually has their own buses, so I believe they drop their prices to $20 per person. All the money goes towards the organization, but we've got these 5 hubs out of all the bars that have enlisted to help, and they have been gracious enough to pay for the buses themselves, and the funds collected for the tickets actually goes to our organization. So great, safe way to get around, and we still have some tickets available for all of the buses. Again, Mascots and Savor you can do online or in person, and the other 3 down south you have to do that in person. But I wouldn't wait too long because they will sell out.
Yeah, I think the sooner the better. If this sounds like a lot of fun, I would go to the freedom13.org right now and take care of that. And the day before, Friday, March 21st, you're actually going to be speaking at the St. Charles County Lincoln Trump dinner coming up as well.
Yes, I'm looking forward to that.
All right, Mark Schmitz, and of course, just look up the St. Charles County GOP website if you want to get more information or tickets about that, and you can meet Mark there. All right, Mark, thank you so much. Just one of the best ways I've seen put it 101 straight up on Rumble. Just said thank you for your strength, Mr. Schmitz. So, Mark, thank you so much for continue this work. And anytime you need us to do anything we can to help out, you got my number. You just call me and we'll do it, man.
I always appreciate you giving us a voice. Thank you.
You got it, Mark Schmitz. We'll talk to you again very soon.
All right, sir. Thank you.
Thanks, all right. TheFreedom13.org. And it's important that you put the THE. So TheFreedom13.org. The pub crawl map is on there. The links to the different tickets for the buses is there as well. I mean, why not?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, honoring those who have served, honoring those who've given the ultimate sacrifice, and doing it in such a fun way. I don't know how you could pass that up. All right, check it out. All right, just ahead here, right around 7:51. Tomorrow's a day. Yeah,
it's a day.
It's a day.
Okay.
We got one of those. I found one of those articles that said, "Here are the good gifts and here are the bad gifts, guys."
Oh yeah,
that day.
It is that day.
It is that day.
Oh geez.
Oh, did I just expose that? You've been sick. You got an excuse.
We've been sick for a week, man.
Yeah. That day is tomorrow.
Kind of sneaks up on you.
Oh, yeah. It
Oh,
did.
jeez.
All right. And I'm going to put the question out there on social media. Send us good gifts, bad gift ideas. So let's go ahead and clear the air on that right around 7:51.
Can you toast with NyQuil?
Yes.
Like and subscribe to us on Rumble. News Talk STL.
If you don't shut your mouth, she'll freak out. You better get your shit together, cause she's bringing you down now.
Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Uptown, get around, anything goes, girl. Girl, she's a hardcore candy store. Give me some more, girl. Girl, she's got a wicked sense of humor. Can't believe what she says.
Looking for the perfect Valentine's gift that won't break the bank? Anthony's Produce has romance covered. Order the Valentine's Special, a dozen roses and a dozen chocolate-covered strawberries for $39.99. Call or book yours today at 636-936-0496 or visit anthonysproduce.com. Plus, we have gorgeous handcrafted fruit bouquets, seasoned firewood, and fresh produce daily. Anthony's Produce, open 7 days a week. 701 Jugaman Road and anthonysproduce.com.
Are you a St. Louis small business owner looking to boost your brand? Blue Ocean Media Group offers affordable video production that packs a punch. From social media content to branded promotional clips, we'll help you stand out in the digital crowd. Professional quality, small business prices. Let's tell your story together. Learn more at blueomg.com. That's blueomg.com. Blue Ocean Media, big impact videos for small business budgets.
Larry Connors here. I'm heading to southern Italy on a tour of the most beautiful coastline in the world, the Amalfi Coast. 11 magical days in luxury with professionals from Conservative Tours. The cost, $54.88. That includes airfare from St. Louis. Call 888-733-9494 or go to conservativetours.com. Let's go to Italy this spring. Conservativetours.com.
I'm Dr. TJ, owner of the Institute of Natural Health, co-owner of Optimal Nutraceuticals, and the host of Wellness 101. Wellness 101 is designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you common sense, science-based information regarding health and wellness. On the show, we discuss topics like thyroid health, gut health, hormone optimization, and many others. Our show airs Saturdays at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. and Sundays at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. right here on News Talk STL. For more information, visit us at inhstl.com. That's inhstl.com.
This hour of Mike Ferguson in the morning brought to you by Window World. Simply the best for less. 314-993-1800 or visit windowworld.com. This is 1019 and 94.1.
I have to tell you, if this is how they're going to behave, I'm rethinking my position.
News Talk STL.
Hey everyone, this is State Senator Nick Schroer. I am the host of Stand and Fight every Sunday night. Right now, let's hear more of Mike Ferguson in the Morning Show here on News Talk STL.
I think we're going to make it, guys.
Yes,
we're going to make it.
We're almost there.
By the way, Vic and Ken, they refuse to come anywhere near us.
Yeah,
So
that's
they will not be here at 9 o'clock. They're
Yeah.
going to be out at Jules on Hampton, actually, doing their show today from 9 o'clock to 11 o'clock. They like Jules on Hampton, but they're like, no, those three coughing, hacking, sick guys, no, forget it.
Yeah, they heard we were coming in. And it's like, oh, they're back, huh?
No, we're out of
Yeah,
here. We're out of
yeah.
here. That's what happened. All right. 7:53 right now. Tomorrow's that day.
It is that day.
I think you legitimately forgot when I thought you were kidding, and you're like, oh crap.
Yeah,
you had
I
that look on your face.
I did legitimately forget that it was that day.
To be fair, though, as I suspect Janet is probably very understanding considering the fact that you've been like under the weather for a week.
Yeah, because the thing is, there was a period in there where she took care of me, and there was a period in there where I had to take care of her because she got what I got. Because we lovingly share things in my household.
The New York Post has one of those articles on what are the best and the worst Valentine's gifts out there. Now, some of the reasoning is just silly.
Okay.
On some of these, but I think like they came to some conclusions that are interesting.
All right.
Just their reasoning is like hippie-ish.
Oh.
It says this about, it's just kind of silly.
They're trying to say what it says about you,
Right.
like your I don't know, your sign or something.
Right.
Like
Well, not even on that, but just like, here's the message that you're saying. No, well,
the message.
okay, so we're gonna start with the worst or the best gifts.
Let's start with the worst because they're funny.
Okay, so number 3.
Mhm.
There's 3 worst and 4 best.
Okay.
3 worst, they say, and see, here's the thing is I kind of disagree with this one.
Mm-hmm.
They say like the bath salts, the stuff
Oh.
that you put in the bathtub.
Yeah.
They say
or
that's,
bath bombs and things like that.
well, they say don't confuse this with bath bombs.
Okay.
But they're talking about the same thing.
The salt.
They're talking about like bath salts.
Okay. Because there are the bombs, which I think sometimes is more like bubble bath,
Right.
but also with other things.
Really high end.
Yeah. But bath salts are just
Right.
kind of like they don't know, they
and
flavor the water.
Just to let you know how
for your human soup.
stupid the reasoning is they're writing on this. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm quoting. Salt is a cleanser and a purifier, so the gift of bath salts will help rid the receiver of any negativity in a relationship. But if you are a
What the
toxic
crap?
partner, you will be cleansed. I mean, what?
Oh, geez.
I
What,
say-
what are you talking about?
Here's why I disagree, because I don't know a single woman
Mhm.
who does not enjoy taking a long bath.
Right.
And a fancy thing to make that a
Better,
more comfortable,
special.
better thing, I think is probably a good gift.
Yes. Things that make it more smelly in the
Right,
good way.
yeah, exactly.
Positive smellies.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I disagree with their thing. Now, number 2, they say the worst Valentine's gifts,
Okay.
alcohol.
All right. I mean, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, as a gift, yeah. I mean,
As a gift, right.
maybe as part of the proceedings, like if you always toast with a certain
Right.
bottle of champagne
I
or
mean-
something like that, because it's the one you had at your wedding. Like Janet and I do that. There's
Sure,
a certain
yeah.
bottle of wine that we had at our wedding
Right.
celebration kind of thing. It was like,
But as far as just a gift,
Yeah.
Happy Valentine's Day, here's some booze.
yeah, that's dumb.
I can kind of buy. I can see that argument.
Yeah, I don't like. I mean, unless that's what she wants or what he wants.
Yeah.
That's. I mean, maybe if it's a particular treat, that if it's a rare bottle of scotch, and you're giving it to your
Oh,
man,
Yeah,
That-
he's gonna appreciate.
he's
that.
gonna appreciate
But
that.
listen, let me just at that point right there though.
Mhm.
Valentine's Day is not for dudes. Okay,
It's true.
it's not for you dudes.
But still,
yes.
men deserve Valentine's gifts. I'm gonna die on that
Yeah.
hill.
Okay, so yes, you will. Actually, that's true. Okay, so and according to the New York Post, the worst Valentine's gift idea that a guy can get his lady, lingerie.
Yeah, you don't get that for her. She gets that for you.
Yeah, I'll say that's a gift for you.
Yeah,
that's
that's
not
true.
a gift for her.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about the best gift ideas according to the New York Post.
Okay.
I'm just reading this. Do not get mad at me. Number 4, they said kitchenware.
No.
They actually said that.
As best?
Yes. Don't
Hey,
do that, guys.
no.
Don't do that.
Unless she specifically asks.
Number 3, this is interesting. Scarves.
Okay, maybe.
Because I think a lot of women, love to mix them and
Mhm.
match it with everything.
Things to keep your lady warm. Yes.
Number 2, chocolate.
Obviously.
Sure, yeah.
Duh.
Number 1, and I did not see this one coming. A nice watch.
A watch?
A watch. They said
Huh.
that was the best gift. A watch.
Interesting.
Hey folks, Tim Jones here with Eric from Newstetter's Fine Jewelers. Eric, Newstetter's not one of those giant, big, sterile, big box stores, is it?
Nope. Newstetter's Fine Jewelry is a family-owned local tradition since the 60s. We're a full-service jeweler that does on-site repair as well as custom creations and one-of-a-kind pieces you will see nowhere else. We don't sell jewelry. We sit and listen to find out exactly what you truly desire in fine jewelry and give you an education so you'll fall in love with your piece for a lifetime. Don't let fine and fine jewelry confuse you. We have pieces starting at $100 that will keep your loved one happy for a lifetime and look like you spent thousands. We also have a wish list to ensure your loved one gets exactly what they want, and we're also bringing back a layaway program to make your life easier. Newstetter's is a true jeweler.
I can personally attest to that. Newstetter's Fine Jewelers at wowdiamonds.com. That's Newstetter's Fine Jewelers, wowdiamonds.com.
Hungry for the best steak you'll ever have?
Head to the heart of Moscow Mills and discover Harry J's, a local landmark and family-owned steakhouse, serving up excellence since '98. From mouth-watering appetizers to decadent desserts, Harry J's has something for everyone. Enjoy our extensive bar selection while soaking in our friendly family atmosphere. Whether dine in or carry out, your meal is prepared to perfection. Make the drive to 300 Main Street and treat yourself to a taste of Moscow Mills' finest. Harry J's, more than a steakhouse. We're a tradition.
Tony Colombo here for Gutter Pros, your all-in-one gutter service team that brings years of experience and quality that's affordable right to your doorstep. We discovered Gutter Pros a few years ago when we bought our home and inherited a gutter issue that was on the road to becoming a potentially big problem, but thanks to Gutter Pros was stopped before causing any major damage. They've also repaired the siding on our home because along with gutter repair, gutter installation, and leaf protection, the Gutter Pros are also the best for siding repair and installation. Learn about all the ways Gutter Pros can help your home at gutterpros.com.
KLGY HD3 Clay, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Wholesale prices came in hotter than expected last month at a time when progress against inflation appears to have stalled. The Labor Department says producer prices rose 0.4% last month from December, up 3.5% from January a year ago. Following Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu's threat to resume the Gaza war, Hamas says it will release 3 more Israeli hostages on Saturday, the BBC's Yolande Nell in Jerusalem.
Mediators have sounded very positive on this. An Egyptian TV channel, which is close to intelligence there, put out a report saying that Egypt and Qatar say that the parties in the ceasefire deal are committed to implementing it. We know that in particular they've been working on the Hamas complaints about aid going into Gaza, notably fuel and shelters.
President Trump has more to say about government waste, fraud, and abuse, and he plans to say it later today.
When you give millions and millions of dollars to somebody that stands to look at something for 15 minutes and walks away with millions of dollars, that money's coming back in some form. And that's only one form of corruption.
Mr. Trump says he'll detail where some of the hundreds of millions of dollars of wasted taxpayer money has gone. Attorney General Bondi is suing New York State officials, including the governor and the state's attorney general.
New York has chosen to prioritize illegal aliens over American citizens. It stops today.
Among other things, New York has a law allowing illegal aliens to get a driver's license and requiring them to be told when federal immigration authorities have requested their information. Bondi says that is unconstitutional. On Wall Street, ahead of this morning's opening bell, the Dow futures are up 75 points. NASDAQ futures 59 points higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
A new president is sworn in. America's greatness is being restored. And there's breaking news every minute. Now, tens of millions of Americans are turning off Fox and CNN and tuning in to Newsmax for the breaking information they really need to know. Reuters Institute says Newsmax is one of the top news brands in America. Find it yourself on all major cable systems and on your TV or smartphone store. Just download the Newsmax app for free and start watching. You'll get great shows with Rob Schmidt, Greta Van Susteren, Rob Finnerty, and Carl Higbie, and more. Find out why millions of Americans have made the switch. Even President Trump says Newsmax is terrific, and he's watching. So make the switch to Newsmax. Check us out on cable and satellite TV or download the Newsmax app today. Watch us anytime, anywhere. Remember, Newsmax is real news.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
It's all about the cold today, even with the clearing sky this morning and loads of sunshine this afternoon. High temps only jump to about 28 degrees. That's almost 20 degrees colder than normal for this time of year. Got wind chills in the single digits this morning, teens this afternoon. Clear, cold, but calm tonight, down to 15 at St. Louis. And for Valentine's Day, increasing cloudiness up to about 40 in the afternoon. Some showers breaking out after about 7 p.m. with on and off rain for Saturday. At your First Alert forecast, I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
This hour of News Talk STL brought to you by Chris Cooper and Serenity Wealth Management. Discover little-known strategies that could be the difference between choosing the care you deserve or having someone else decide it for you. Get a free copy of Chris's book at serenityltc.com.
Mike Ferguson here. Retirement should be a time you can relax. No more stress from work. But there's one thing you can't forget about when retiring. That's your money. Do you have enough saved to fund your income for life and keep up with inflation? How will you claim your Social Security benefits? And what about long-term care? The ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel is here to help answer all of these questions. You can hear their latest views on the markets and investing during On the Money, hosted by Stifel financial advisors Bob Stockdale and Eric Robert, every Saturday morning at 9, right here on News Talk STL. They can help you get organized, guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create an investment portfolio designed around your needs. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com. Or call 636-695-2650, 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
Mike Ferguson.
Are you pretending to be crazy?
Gabe Pfeiffer.
There's something serious I have to tell you about the future.
Get up, St. Louis.
Will you guys knock it off?
Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Get up! Get up! This is your cousin.
We're getting a lot of comments on the good, bad Valentine's Day presents.
Yeah.
Just want to point out, because the New York Post, I think it was, right? It was New York Post. Yeah, they wrote that article, and they said in the list of the top 4 best gifts for guys to get your ladies was kitchenware.
Yeah. That
no,
I don't understand that. Who's advising that?
No, yeah. And Larry Connors on our Rumble chat box, Larry Connors, he said nothing that you plug in. And regarding kitchen, never knives nor skillets, which could double as weapons of anger.
See, when
playing a high stakes games with this, guys.
When men of a certain level of experience speak, the rest of us need to listen.
Oh man!
Are you saying listen to your elders?
Listen to your elders. Absolutely.
Jeez.
Absolutely.
Okay, so maybe around 8:50. Let's come up with some better ideas for the good and bad gifts.
Yeah,
because it is kind of funny. It's funny you say when men of a certain level of experience speak, and I think all of us have have a certain level of experience as well.
That's true.
There are things that you learn the hard way.
Yes, and there are some people after you have learned it the hard way, you please do share with the rest of us.
That's right. Of mankind, and we're talking the men folk.
Yes,
you pass on the
primarily
wisdom.
So. Yes,
yeah, to
absolutely.
Do that. All right, it is 8:06 right now. Got Gabe back here, got Stell back here. First time we have all been back here together in a week now. Because I think it was
almost exactly a week.
I think it was exactly a week ago today that at this point, Gabe, you and I were like, what the heck, man? I feel like crap.
Yes.
And then by Friday, we'd fallen apart.
Yeah, I was here last Friday.
Which I didn't know till Monday.
Neither did I.
There you go.
I realized on Monday. Wait a minute, I did work on Friday.
Yeah.
When I was here, we had a best of show, and that was fine. Everything went well. Chris came in early because he was, I believe, doing Vic's show.
Right.
And he said that he felt fine when he came in, and then about an hour after he left, everything hit the wall for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that seems how it's been going. Now, no, I'm trying to think who it was. 101 straight up says, I think you guys gave me your crud. I had no idea that stuff could transmit via Wi-Fi.
Oh man,
but apparently it does.
Different kind of virus, I guess.
Yeah.
There it is. All right, coming up on 8:08 right now. Let's see here. Donald Trump's plan to buy out federal workers, that's moving forward. And a once powerful Illinois politician hears his verdicts in court. Let's go ahead and dump some news on you here.
The morning news dump.
Are you joking? Is this a joke?
Listen, folks, the morning news dump.
Okay, a jet slides off the taxiway at Lambert on Wednesday. Yikes.
Just a little whoops.
Yes.
Little whoops there.
Now I went and I know that this is probably for a lot of people just mincing, like picking at the little tiny details. It did not slide off the runway.
Right.
It slid off the taxiway.
Okay. Yes.
Which is different.
It is.
Airport officials say the United regional jet had 27 people on board, and that does include the crew, but nobody was hurt. The jet, operated by GoJet Airlines, had just landed a little before 11 a.m. on its flight from Washington Dulles. And Gabe, we don't, it'll be a while before we get like the exact official, because they're going to have to do a whole NTSB investigation and everything, even though nobody got hurt. That's kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
Thank goodness it was just a small jet, and thank goodness nobody was hurt.
Yeah. Now the difference between a runway and a taxiway is runway is what you use to either take off or land.
Right.
A taxiway connects the runway to the terminal.
Right.
So that's how the planes get from point A, picking up people or dropping off people, to onto the actual runway.
Which means they could not have been going very fast at all.
They couldn't. Yeah. I mean, typically what happens is you hit the runway, you land, because I think this was after they had just come in.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
And then you turn off onto one of the taxiways and you make your way to whatever terminal you're supposed to be dropping people off. And generally speaking, that's a low speed move. I mean, everybody recalls, everybody remembers, you come in hot, you land, you stop, and then now you're taking the slow little rumble to the taxiway, and that's a big deal that they just slipped right off.
Right.
That's weird.
Yeah, and that's at that time, that's we were having that wintry mix that was falling.
Yes.
In the St. Louis area. So
it makes sense that it would be a big old patch.
My guess is that's probably what they're going to find, is that something happened along those lines. But the important thing is nobody got hurt. Okay. In the Oval Office on Wednesday, this happened.
God, so help me God. Congratulations.
And that is the U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi swearing in Tulsi Gabbard into her role as Director of National Intelligence after her confirmation vote in the U.S. Senate. President Trump was also there as well. That vote to confirm Tulsi Gabbard was 52-48. Senator Mitch McConnell joined Democrats in opposing her. And there is going to be a confirmation vote that's going to start up right around 9:30 Central Time is when that's going to happen for RFK Jr. For Department of Health and Human Services. And there's going to be another hearing. The Judiciary Committee, not a hearing.
Okay.
The Judiciary Committee is going to vote on Kash Patel today.
Okay. All
so
right.
Not a hearing, but they're going to vote. So if he passes that, then he goes on to the full Senate. So all of the nominees are kind of moving forward in this process.
I wonder how far we are into the pick list, right? How close are we now to having the full cabinet voted on?
Yeah, it's getting pretty close because Linda McMahon, there's going to be a vote on her coming up here as well for Department of Education, which is interesting because Linda McMahon, her job is going to be eliminate your own job.
Yes. Yes.
Now, I'm pretty sure the McMahons can still pay the rent. They're fine.
Oh yeah.
They'll cover their mortgage just fine.
Yeah, they're not going to be worried about, oh no, my kingdom.
No, they're all right. They're all right to do that. And Donald Trump doubled down yesterday on getting rid of the Department of Education. So I don't know if he really meant it when he said it during the campaign, but clearly he's looked into it and went, yeah, I want to get rid of this thing. And so, because now he's coming up with specifics and reasons. And so he seems to be really intent on doing it. And I think possibly the idea of eliminating something that Jimmy Carter created probably appeals to him as well.
Absolutely.
And I'm guessing he got nudged a little bit by Elon.
Yes.
Because Elon was giving all his stats on everything that's been going on and what he's been investigating. And I'm guessing Donald said, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
And JD Vance, to be fair, probably.
Yes.
Vance was probably bending his ear a little bit on that too.
The plans are feeling a bit more concrete now.
Yeah.
All the things that are quote unquote essential out of the Department of Education, they all have some place to land. They all have another agency to land in. So getting rid of it sounds actually like it's going to happen.
Yep. All right.
It's so exciting.
Here's some stuff that's happening. This is kind of a big deal right now as well. The Department of Justice announced that it's filing a lawsuit against the state of New York, against Governor Kathy Hochul, against Attorney General Letitia James, over their basically roadblocking federal immigration enforcement in their state. Attorney General Pam Bondi issuing a warning for other sanctuary cities and states that are refusing to comply with the Trump administration when it comes to illegal immigration.
If you don't comply with federal law, we will hold you accountable. We did it to Illinois. Strike one. Strike two is New York. And if you are a state not complying with federal law, you're next. Get ready.
And the New York lawsuit, as she just said, follows another suit the DOJ has already filed against the state of Illinois and the city of Chicago. Now, of course, the way that it's being framed in the media is that they're defying the Trump administration. That's not really what it is. It's that they are inhibiting, or they are trying to inhibit, federal law enforcement of immigration policy.
Yeah, the DMV commissioner Schroeder out there is also named in this lawsuit, and it seems that one of the major sticking points is the New York policy or law. I'm supposing it's law that allows them to give the driver's licenses to anyone 16 or older, regardless of a nationality,
which
or not immigration status,
which is what Illinois has done as well.
Right.
They've literally created a driver's license program for people who are quote unquote undocumented. So they literally are creating the vital lifeline for illegal aliens to be able to sort of, just sneak under the radar.
Just blend into the rest of society with that ID. That for all intents and purposes, state driver's licenses are national IDs.
Yeah, that's right.
So I think the federal government's got a really good case there, I think those laws are going to get struck down.
Yep. All right. A federal judge says President Trump's buyout plan for federal employees can move forward.
After pausing the deferred resignation program, U.S. District Judge George O'Toole Jr. cleared the way for the plan to downsize the federal workforce. The judge didn't rule on the legality of the so-called buyout, but found that the labor unions that sued didn't have legal standing to challenge the program. According to the White House, tens of thousands of workers have taken the government up on its offer to resign now and get paid through September. Greg Clugston, Washington.
Told you so. This is exactly what I said was going to happen.
I told you.
Told you. All right. Once considered the most powerful politician in Illinois' history, which is saying something, because when you think about all the politicians in Illinois' history, there have been some pretty powerful ones.
Lots of them.
Former Democratic Speaker Michael Madigan is now convicted of federal bribery and wire fraud charges. Madigan was convicted on 10 counts. He was acquitted of 7 other counts, and the jury was unable to reach verdicts in 6 other counts as well. This was in federal court in Chicago. Madigan was the state speaker of the House for over 30 years, and it's kind of hard to overstate still how powerful Michael Madigan was at the peak of his career.
Yeah, unless you've actually lived in Illinois, you may not be able to grasp the type of power that the Madigan family has had throughout the state, not just Chicago area, but Springfield and throughout the state.
Right. I mean, at one point it was like, could he have probably decided to claim the governorship and just walk in and take it? And yeah, I think I'll take this.
If he
could have, but it would have been a downgrade in his power. Because when in Illinois, they don't have term limits.
Right.
So he could just stay as speaker as long as he did. And his daughter was attorney general for 3 or 4 terms. And she would have been reelected had she decided to run in, I want to say 2018 is when I think she decided to not run again.
Lisa, right?
Lisa Madigan. And she, despite the, corruption that's associated with her father, probably would have won re-election because that's what Illinois does right now.
Oh yeah.
Without a doubt.
You constantly elect the most egregiously corrupt people possible. You hang out with them for a good many years, you re-elect them constantly, and then you put them in prison.
Right. Precisely. Yeah. So we'll see. There's no word yet on when the sentencing is going to be for Madigan. There likely will be appeals as well. So I wouldn't expect him to be in a jumpsuit anytime soon.
No, and he is 82 years old.
Yeah.
So I understand that.
So they're going to have to figure something out one way or the other pretty quick here.
Yeah.
All right. Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey asking Missouri lawmakers for more money. At a House Budget Committee hearing on Wednesday, the AG asked for an additional $3 million in the next budget in order to hire more attorneys to take on what he calls more complicated cases that his office deals with. Obviously, Andrew Bailey taking on a lot of national cases. The current budget for his office is $44.7 million. Bailey is asking for $47.7 million. That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
All at once depart, no destination, making cold my heart to fight your war. Stop right now!
Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Hello, this is Jay with Titan Hill Armory in Washington, Missouri. We are a small family-owned business specializing in firearms and accessories. We buy, sell, and trade and have over 2,000 firearms in our store. We're open Wednesday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., and Saturday, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Check us out at 1807 East 5th Street or online at TitanHillArmory.com.
Titan Hill Armory, your source for firearms, ammunition, accessories in Washington, Missouri.
Again, that's TitanHillArmory.com.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
State Representative George Haruza.
I grew up in communist Czechoslovakia. We escaped from there, from a nightmare world of censorship, shortages, basically government-sponsored terror. Came to the U.S., New York, and I became a dermatologist and was one of the president of the American Academy of Dermatology, which wouldn't be possible in any other country in the world.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps, weekdays at 4 on News Talk STL.
From home improvement to replacement, do-it-yourself electrical projects can be shocking. That's where Grasser Electric can help. They've been lighting up St. Louis for years. From ceiling fans and dimmer switches to repair or replacing your electric. No job is too big or too small for your home or business. Grasser Electric will even install emergency backup generators. So call Grasser Electric today before the sparks start to fly. 636-441-5200 or go to grasserelectric.com.
Who doesn't love a good gyro? Soulard Gyro is the place to go. They're family owned and operated and been operating since 2009 and growing. 4 locations in O'Fallon, Maryland Heights, Wentzville, and Soulard. And they have gyros, rice bowls, salads, and wraps, Greek fries. I didn't even know that was a thing. So stop into one of their 4 locations. And if you need something catered, they can take care of that too. Soulard Gyro, SoulardGyro.com. Make authentic gyros great again.
News Talk STL.
First thing in the morning and pretty much all day.
Live and local. 101.9 and 94.1. News Talk STL.
Hi, this is Jefferson County Councilman Billy Crow with a reminder to check out our new show, Jeffco Patriot Radio. This and every Sunday at high noon. Now, back to the Mike Ferguson in the Morning Show.
One of those songs I just love to let the build-up happen. And then, of course, all the instruments crash in. Jack Russell, the singer, one of those who died over the past year.
Yeah.
He had a very, very brutal form of dementia. Was one of the 2 diagnoses. And there was another kind of multiple sclerosis sort of related thing. But, man, what a brutal diagnosis that he had when he died. But what a great bluesy voice, and apparently a guy who had a lot of demons that he never quite conquered, which probably contributed to some of his medical diagnoses.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
And Great White was a great band.
Yeah, great band. They're still around with, new singer. I say new singer. He's been with them like 25 years. But real good bluesy feel to it. I've always enjoyed their music. All right, 8:21, which, by the way, that reminds me, we've got a Flashback Friday coming up tomorrow. So you got time. You got another 3.5 hours, basically, to get your request in for Flashback Friday this week. And yes, we're a little behind the 8 ball because everybody's been down under the weather, but we're here now. So make the most of it.
Yep.
Just
and
saying.
it is on Valentine's Day, so that should be a little tip for you. You may want to make a request that ties in with Valentine's Day.
Okay.
I'm just leaving that up to you guys.
That's right. Make your own choices.
Yeah.
Just saying. All right. 8:22 right now. We kind of stumbled on something a little bit earlier in the discussion I want to follow up on here.
Yeah.
Because we talked about, how it feels like we're drinking from the fire hose with all the executive orders. And in the past, couple of weeks, Gabe, you brought up, this has got to be part of the strategy of Donald Trump to overwhelm the left, overwhelm the media. And when we talk about overwhelming the media, we're not talking about just the leftist media. We're talking about the conservative media, because there are most days I come in thinking, okay, I'm not going to do a 3.5 hour show about Donald Trump.
Right. Even though you could.
I could. I'm not going to. But I'm not going to do a 3.5 hour show about Donald Trump. We have a lot that's going on in Missouri. We have a lot that's going on in Illinois. We have a lot that's going on in St. Louis. And so we look at life through a conservative lens, which sometimes aligns with Trump and MAGA, sometimes doesn't. But you could easily just pick out all of the stuff that he's doing and have no problem holding an audience and doing an interesting show.
Quite easily do a deep dive on pretty much, the top 6
right stuff that he did or said,
executive orders of the day.
Right. And so, or the orders that were given or whatever the case is.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to do that every day, but just over the last couple of weeks, because I don't know in all of my years of doing media that I've ever experienced something like this, where you don't just have a busy news day and you're trying to keep up. And when you go in to do what we do, you go, I just got to pick the top 4, 5, 6 things.
Right.
And that's a good problem to have.
Oh, absolutely.
Because there are other days where just things are a bit slower and, you're a little more enterprising and all that sort of thing. But with this, it's been day after day after day after day after day. Okay. So, but the interesting thing is I got to thinking about it is that with, first of all, Trump being far more disciplined and more savvy with his use of executive orders, which we've talked about and covered. We don't need to go through all that again. But the second thing is I'm starting to see a much bigger picture that I'm not sure a lot of other people are seeing.
Yeah, it's slowly been emerging recently,
Right.
and we're just now kind of catching wind of it, really.
Right. And that doesn't make me any smarter than anybody else. It just means that I've been doing this for a living and I've got the luxury of sitting around and thinking about this stuff, because most people go to work and do real jobs instead of what I do for a living. And so there are people who, regardless of what Donald Trump says, it's bad, it must be opposed, we must fight it. Orange man bad, or what was one of the trolls on social media, the Mango Messiah bad?
Mango Messiah.
I actually thought that was pretty funny.
That's actually clever.
I actually think that was pretty funny.
All right, good on you.
Good, yeah. Good. So, and then there's other people who says no matter what Donald Trump says, it's good, must be defended. It's good because Donald Trump says it, and
Right.
that sort of thing. And I'm not in either of those camps. When he's right, he's right. When he's wrong, he's wrong. He just happens to be a lot more right than he is wrong right now. And so, but when you look at the bigger picture, guys, what I'm seeing here is kind of a slow moving through all the chaos, through all the smoke, through all the storms. You're seeing a slow moving reset of our relationship with the government, with the government's relationship with us, with the state's relationship with the federal government, with the federal government. So we are looking at likely one of those cruxes of history.
Yes.
Where we are going to be deciding what the roles of all of these entities are: federal government, state government, presidency, Congress, we the people, all of these things. This is all possibly sort of being clarified and reset for the next 50 years, 75 years, 100 years, because with all of these executive orders that are being challenged, some of them will end up before the U.S. Supreme Court. Some of them will not. Other aspects of whatever Congress is going to do to support Donald Trump's executive orders with legislation, those are likely going to end up before the U.S. Supreme Court. So what we're seeing right now is not just the next 3.5 years of Donald Trump's administration. We're probably looking at something that's going to leave behind permanent changes, or at least clarifications for generations to come.
The American political system is currently being revised.
Yes.
The system, there's a rolling system update kind of being downloaded right now and being implemented that's going to change the way the whole operation kind of works.
Which, by the way, regardless of how it turns out, just that idea
that's huge
of hitting the reset button, that is not a bad thing.
No, not at all. Not at all. And I think there are actually going to be a lot of benefits to at least the current form that it seems to be taking, like the elimination of U.S. aid. As soon as that agency kind of goes away, as soon as the reforms that I think DOGE are kind of planning to implement, like real reforms kind of built into the system, it's going to be a lot more difficult to perform the sort of graft and influence peddling that has been going on for the last generation or so.
Right.
USAID has been a money laundering operation for leftist causes and for Democratic money launderers, essentially money
and it didn't start
changers it didn't start that way, but it's certainly been that way for at least the last 20 years, I would say.
Well, and the thing is that there are things that USAID does
sure
that are legit, and there are other things that they do, and I've said this earlier this week, that are pretty sketchy, but in our national interest.
Sure.
Does it do some dirty stuff and destabilize our opponent? Yeah. Do we really want to know all the details? Probably not.
Sometimes you don't need to know how the sausage is
Right,
made,
yeah.
in terms of dealing with some of these nasty countries out there.
Right.
But on top of that, though, you get these millions and millions of dollars for the AP.
Right.
To write certain stories,
right,
and we've been watching the left-leaning bias and Reuters and so many others, NPR. We've been watching them go further and further to the left in their story creation and in their suppression of certain other stories. And it's like, wait a second. So these guys are basically just being paid by Democrat operatives within the bureaucracy with our money to defraud us out of more of our money. You know what I mean? So the fact that whole edifice is kind of being ground into powder right now is amazing.
Yeah. So that's part of that reset.
Yes.
It's not like we haven't had, anger over biased media.
Sure.
And it's not even like we haven't had those things every year where somebody points out the ridiculous, stupid thing that some federal program is paying for.
Right.
And we've had all this. But that's not what we're talking about right now. It's much, 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 much bigger than that. And so you're seeing that fulcrum, and you're seeing obviously on the cultural issues, especially with the gender ideology sorts of thing. And I think what we're seeing, and just the best word I can think of, is reset.
Yes.
And I think that's what's got the left apocalyptic about this right now, is because they know that in this reset, they're losing in a big way, and they're losing it of not a governmental level. They're not losing because Donald Trump's writing an executive order. They're losing because in our guts and our hearts and our bones, the majority of people in this country say, we know what's happened and what is happening is wrong, and we're done. We've let you go too far.
Yes. And I think their realization that the public is now on the side of the cutters,
right?
The money cutters, is a sea change. Because it used to be very easy for them to say, hey, don't cut this program because my hostage puppy is in danger. Right. It's like, hey, if you cut the transgender comic books, the puppy gets it. Yeah. That's kind of how they've been holding these things hostage.
Sorry about your puppy.
But right now the public is just like, no, I'm sorry. It's like, or they're saying like, I don't believe you.
Yeah.
I don't believe that's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I think the puppy's going to be fine. I think you're bluffing.
Yeah.
And I do not want to pay for the transgender comic books anymore.
Right.
So people have gotten so much more comfortable now, just looking the Democrats in the eye as they try to fearmonger and say, no, screw you. And they're scared of that sort of mentality being the norm.
And here's the thing is, when you look back 2-3 years ago, and you say, why did the Department of Justice overreact when people started objecting at school board meetings, at city hall meetings? Why did they bring the sledgehammer to take care of the ant? This is why.
Yep.
I'm starting to think that there were more and more people on the far left who said, we better pounce on that now before this becomes a big thing and we can't stop it. And they couldn't stop it.
Nope.
Got some thoughts on it? Let's talk. 314-912-1019. This is 1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
You didn't know what rock and roll was.
Like and subscribe to us on Rumble. News Talk STL. Mike Ferguson in the morning. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
It's all about the cold today, even with the clearing sky this morning and loads of sunshine this afternoon. High temps only jump to about 28 degrees. That's almost 20 degrees colder than normal for this time of year. Got wind chills in the single digits this morning, teens this afternoon. Clear, cold, but calm tonight, down to 15 at St. Louis. And for Valentine's Day, increasing cloudiness up to about 40 in the afternoon. Some showers breaking out after about 7 p.m. with on and off rain for Saturday. That's your first alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Matt Shea. machine.
Fox News commentary.
Border czar Tom Homan dropped a bombshell on who may have leaked ICE raid information. I'm Tommy Lahren. More next.
When I started skiing, I didn't think about setting any records. When I won my first race, I didn't think about how many more I might win. So when I made it to the top of the world, it never crossed my mind to stop. Being the best isn't the same as being your best. There are no shortcuts to the top, so find the people who help get you there. I'm Michaela Schifrin, and that's what Team Stiefel means to me. If you're an advisor or an investor, choose Stiefel, where success meets success.
Stiefel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
Past performance is no indication of future results. Investing involves risk. Consult a financial advisor before making any investment decisions.
It's become a trend. ICE agents arrive to arrest criminal illegal aliens, and they're nowhere to be found. In at least one instance, ICE agents arrived at an apartment complex in Aurora, Colorado that was a known hideout for criminal alien gang members. But when they arrived, many of their targets were able to evade capture. It doesn't take Sherlock Holmes to figure out that these criminal illegal alien thugs were likely tipped off. But by whom? Border czar Tom Homan is getting to the bottom of it, and he believes FBI personnel may be involved. And if so, these leakers will not only be fired, but they will be prosecuted for their crimes. It's unthinkable that an American citizen, much less a law enforcement officer, would aid and assist criminal illegal aliens. If this person or persons are identified, there will be all hell to pay. AG Pam Bondi will not let this one fly. I'm Tommy Lahren, and you can watch my show, Tommy Lahren is Fearless, at Outkick.com.
Hey, it's Susie Moore to tell you about Michael's Flooring. Michael's is known for quality, variety, and an all-around great experience. Installing new flooring should be exciting, not a hassle you dread. Michael's has solved that, and their long list of happy repeat customers is proof. They've been locally owned and operated for more than 30 years. Carpet, hardwood, laminate, luxury vinyl, ceramic tile, it doesn't matter. Michael's Flooring, with 3 locations, St. Peter's, Darting Prairie, and Creve Coeur, or online at igotfloored.com. That's igotfloored.com.
News Talk STL is proud to have Doug Voss of Safe Money Radio as part of our lineup each week. Doug has been a staple on the St. Louis radio airwaves for many years as one of the leading financial experts in the area. You can now hear Doug and Safe Money Radio 3 times every weekend on News Talk STL. But in case you miss anything, you can check it all out at DougVossSafeMoneyRadio.com. You could also reach Doug at 844-6766. That's 844-676-7233.
Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through DHL Securities, LLLP. Member FINRA and SIPC.
Hey, Colombo here for Intervine, a great local company that has customers all across the country due to the quality of their products. Intervine has the best flashlights, lanterns, headlamps, and even batteries, including the new Monster 2000 Lumen waterproof lantern and the Sentinel 2000 self-defense flashlight. Our home and vehicles are full of great Intervine products, and right now you can shop their website and get 25% off your entire purchase just by using my name, Tony, as your promo code. That's promo code Tony at Intervine.com.
The news and talk.
This ceasefire is now formally beginning.
That matters to St. Louis.
25% tariffs on Colombia after it blocked 2 U.S. deportation flights.
This is 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Hey, it's Vic and Ken. We're on 9 to 11 every Monday through Friday on News Talk STL. Kenny, how are you?
I'm good.
You know, you got to be some kind of weirdo to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and do radio.
Do, believe me.
And that weirdo is Mike Ferguson in the morning show on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Whoosh.
Vic and Ken going to be out at Jules on Hampton doing their show today from there.
Yep, keeping their distance from us weirdos.
That's right. Yes, from us here. Yeah, precisely. So they're going to be there. If you want to find them there, it's on Hampton. Just pointing it out. As in Jules on Hampton.
Jules on Hampton.
Yeah, yes. Check it out. But they'll be doing their show from there. Yeah.
Yep. So. Not Northampton, Southampton.
There you go.
Because there is no Northampton.
There is no Northampton.
All right. 8:37 right now. Interesting comment to Righty Right.
Yeah, Righty Right. And this is a very astute observation, by the way.
Yeah.
He says, notice the protests now. With no money equals no buses, no paid agitators, no fires or violence.
Yeah.
That's a significant change. I mean, because we've been talking about, just the idea of protests as being kind of the standard response by the left against Donald Trump stuff. Now, back in the day, that stuff meant cities were burning down.
Right.
That-
Including right here in the St. Louis area.
Including right here.
We were ground frickin' zero.
Yeah, my auto zone, the
Yes.
auto zone that I would frequent, was burned to the ground by protesters. Like, so we know how that stuff works. We remember seeing the pallets of bricks just showing up on street corners someplace where agitation would sort of suddenly turn into this massive protest. There were thousands of people out in the street, and on some level, we kind of expected that. We kind of expected, okay, you know what? As Donald Trump moves through, you know, the left agitators are going to be out in force. They're going to try and say something about either ICE or the cost cutting or whatever, the transgender stuff. They're going to be out in force talking about all these things because he's making real moves now. But it's not happening. It's not happening. I mean, we've seen some protests, but they're small.
Right.
They're lightly attended. They're the most violence you're getting out of them are kind of scuffles with police, and then they kind of just die and go away.
After the November election, I think a lot of us went, well, here we go again.
Right.
This is part of what we're. But no, we really haven't. We haven't seen that. When you look back just over the past 4 years, I mean, I'm thinking of 64 being shut down completely, with people crawling all over 18-wheelers.
Yep.
You know, we've the chaos that led to the murder of Captain Dorn. You know, I mean, so you see all of this that's not there. So the fuel has been cut off.
Yes.
From a lot of this. That's not to say that it's not going to happen again, but at one point it was real easy for any of us on the right, whether you're conservative, whether you're MAGA, whether you're just big R Republic, whatever it is, that it was easy for us to go, this is just the way it is. We're just going to try to, you know, hold it back as fast. But now it's like, no, wait a minute. But look back over the course of those years, last few years, and if you step back and look at where we are right now and look at where we were right then, you're starting to go, wait a minute, maybe those weren't just a bunch of mini news cycles and then we dealt with an issue and then we moved on to the next thing. Maybe these were connected and there is a bigger picture, and we're seeing now that they swung and lost at a true cultural revolution. Now, that doesn't mean the fight's over.
Oh, gosh.
By any stretch. I mean, I just saw a news story pop up in front of me on, like, there's another town in Massachusetts that's trying to become a sanctuary city for so-called trans people.
Oh,
so
Worcester, Mass.
Worcester, Massachusetts.
Oh,
okay.
Worcester.
Which, from what I've read, I've never been there. That's what I've heard. I don't. Yeah,
that makes sense.
So, but the funny part is that the way people talk about that now is different. Because before, even the most conservative of us, we were told, be really careful what you say. Basically, don't piss them off. Don't make them mad.
They have way too much
They
power.
have way too much power. They don't have squat for power.
They have nothing.
Nothing. Even in blue areas, they have nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you look back, as I mentioned before that last information segment, why did the Department of Justice, why did Merrick Garland, why did the Biden administration come down so hard on people who were standing up saying you shouldn't be giving how to give oral sex techniques in the grade school library?
Right.
Why did they come down so hard on those parents who were speaking up, literally coordinating with the feds around the country? Why did they react so harshly to people who were taking a stand in a pro-life way and praying outside of a Planned Parenthood butchery? Why were they taking such a hardcore stand? It was to eliminate any pushback on their cultural front.
Yeah, they thought the cultural revolution moment was theirs.
Yeah.
And all they had to do was
stomp and
twist. And all of a sudden the once the opposition is fully and properly squashed, that they could continue on, they would have power in perpetuity.
And they knew that it was a stomp and squish thing. That was what they wanted us to see. They wanted that fear factor. And now I'm looking at what's happening right now with the left on their heels. And yes, to some degree, there's going to be a pendulum that swings back and forth. But I don't think that's what we're looking at right now. I think we're looking at a fulcrum change.
Yes, I think this isn't so much a pendulum move. I think this is much bigger than a pendulum move, because this isn't coming back. I don't see anybody saying, in another 4, 8, even 16 years. So let's go, you know what? Maybe we were wrong about that whole transgender thing, and we should let them back into our sports and our locker rooms and let them have, free reign over our textbooks and our kids and things like that. And maybe we were wrong. I don't see that happening. That pendulum is not coming back.
No, I don't think so. I think we look back and go, what were we thinking? Either those who bought into it because they started off by saying, you know what, just let them live their lives. I mean, and now they're going to have to justify that to themselves. Or if they're intellectually honest, say, I was on the side of absolute evil, and grooming and predators. And so they're going to have to do that. But we're going to look back and say, how could we have ever allowed that to happen?
Those of us who don't have a direct connection as being the decider in those situations, if we didn't trans our kids, if we didn't do any one of these movements or join any of these things, but we were technically allies or silent or complicit on some level, I think those people have come back. Those people have come back to their senses. They're like, you know what, that was crazy. I don't know why I even thought any of that was true. I don't know why I allowed that to go without me saying something. Now, the people who did participate, though, they're all in. They can't unless they are capable of have the mental fortitude and capable of rectifying the fact that they did something horrific to their children or other people's children and things like that, and they can come to terms with that. They're going to double, triple, and quadruple down on this ideology because it's the only way that they can reconcile their choices.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is that ideology at the best, the worst case scenario needs to be just driven back into the closet where it belongs. And the reality is it needs to be driven out of a civilized society completely. And I'm talking about on a cultural level. I'm talking about on social consequences. I mean, I'm talking about somebody brings that up and people look at them for the evil that they are actually trying to promote. But I'm stepping back and I'm seeing it all tie in. I don't think it was a whole bunch of extremist left-wing Marxist-based ideology. I think you can also layer in the anti-Semitism that we've seen in the last couple of years. At the universities and the use of violence by, the students at UCLA and USC and NYU and WashU and all of these places around the country. And layer after layer after layer of this, I think that the agitators who wanted to say, at one point they said, this is our opportunity to make that permanent change. And you're probably got some of the same people that thought that they had that in the 1960s and they took their shot. And it wasn't Donald Trump who said no. It wasn't Republicans who said no. It was our culture who said that's too far.
Yeah.
Now that mean that they're buying in and that the country is right wing? Nope.
Oh, no,
not in the least bit.
Not yet.
No. But they've said, we're not doing that. You've gone too far. Those too many slippery slope arguments came true right in front of us.
Yes. And I think that's a great way of putting it because, I remember back in the day where there were a lot of people talking about, how much of a fallacy the slippery slope was. It's like, no one's talking about that. That could never happen.
We're not talking about recruiting your kindergartner. We're not talking about 8-year-old drag queens.
Yeah, it's like, gosh, it's like we're just talking about people having, their own lives. We want privacy in our bedrooms. Right. We're not talking about public sex acts.
Right.
You're right. So all of a sudden, we start having the public sex acts. We start having the kids being groomed to this stuff. We start having public funds being commissioned to create entire movements internationally with American flags. Trying to spread this ideology everywhere. It's like, wait a minute. They warned us about it. Somebody said this was going to happen.
Right.
And here it is happening right now.
And there was a moment, historically speaking, where we thought they've won.
Oh gosh,
culturally.
I
thought so.
Oh yeah, it felt very hopeless.
But I also think that on the things that are that important and that we need to make sure that we complete the victory.
Yes.
Then we can have a fair debate. Hey, adults, do what you want to do in the privacy of your own home. But privacy of your own home means privacy of your own home.
Right.
Just like privacy of my home means privacy of my home as well. There's that's where we look at this. But I'm looking back and going, this all ties together too much now when you look at the bigger picture.
Republicans, we have to seize this moment, and not just Republicans, conservatives, especially conservatives. We have to seize this moment. There are people who are conservative curious right now.
There are. That's right. And the reality is that there are people on the right that we had to call out at the time.
Yeah.
Because remember, Bruce Jenner or Caitlyn Jenner, was going to be the next big commentator voice for Fox News. And people like us were going, no. And there were a lot of conservatives who goes, no, we need these voices. No, we don't. We were right. They were wrong. We need to hold strong on that. All right. You know what tomorrow is, guys, right?
It's that day.
It's that day. All right. Good gift ideas, bad gift ideas. And yes, we're going completely one direction here, guys. I'm trying to help you out.
Yeah.
Good gift ideas for your lady, bad gift ideas for your lady. Let's compare. Right around 8:52.
For podcasts, articles, and more, find us on newstalkstl.com. Get up. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Jewels on Hampton and St. Louis Hills is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, coins, flatware, and fine watches on site. Jewels on Hampton is a premier jeweler featuring Alvanza's jewel art designs with an exquisite selection of diamonds, semi-precious stone jewelry, and vintage watches. Their expert design team can restyle your jewelry to today's contemporary style. They also do jewelry and watch repair. Need extra cash? Jewels on Hampton is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, coins, flatware, and fine watches. Bring in your collectibles and clocks and sports memorabilia and figurines too. Jewels on Hampton, 4506 Hampton, just 3 blocks south of Chippewa, and jewelsonhampton.com. Call them at 314-752-5000, 314-752-5000, and jewelsonhampton.com. Jewels on Hampton.
The Herzog Foundation is the vision of its founder, Stanley Herzog, and it exists to promote quality Christ-centered K-12 education nationwide.
Hi, this is Chris Stegall with the Herzog Foundation. We offer a wide variety of resources relevant to today's families, including a free online publication called The Lion. The lion is one of God's most majestic creatures, symbolizing strength and courage. Named for its attributes, the Lion publication carries articles covering a wide range of topics facing American families and culture, especially related to the education of children. The Lion can be found online at readlion.com. That's READ lion.com.
Sign up for The Lion at readlion.com and find dozens of must-read articles published every day. Visit readlion.com and subscribe for the weekly and daily digests so you never miss an article. Readlion.com. That's readlion.com.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
On the next Larry Connors USA.
Tulsi Gabbard now confirmed. So what are her plans for the National Intel Agency and how it will benefit our nation?
Larry Connor's USA. Now, weeknights 6 until 8 on News Talk STL. News, analysis, opinion.
You know, they're literally taking the Constitution and putting it in a paper shredder.
News Talk STL.
I love that you're starting your day off right with Mike Ferguson in the morning. It's your boy Joe Pags. Talk to you tonight. But now let's get back to Mike.
I think I legitimately caught Gabe off guard a little bit earlier in the show, and I'm like, you know what tomorrow is, right?
Yeah, you really did.
Gabe and Stella have been sick, been out up until today. You guys have been out all week.
Not just out, but out of it.
Out.
Yes. I've been out as in unconscious,
Yes.
and also out of it as in conscious, but not really.
Yes.
We're still back in January.
I'm still back. Smart. Wait, it's February?
Yeah. And I'm like, you know what tomorrow is? And then you saw it kind of dawn on Gabe, like, oh, crap.
Yeah, I did oh, crap.
Because this is the first day you've been back since last Thursday.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh, my goodness. It's 8:53 right now. And so tomorrow, Valentine's Day. Guys, let me tell you something. Here's my advice for you on what to ask for Valentine's Day. Don't.
Right. I mean, look. I will still say, ladies, guys deserve things. Please be magnanimous, but guys don't ask.
You're stepping out there,
guys don't ask. But I'm just saying, ladies, please.
This day is for the ladies. Let's just be clear about that.
We get no days
because we started with this story I found a little bit ago from the New York Post that said what are the worst and the best Valentine's Day gifts.
Yeah.
And just to go through it really, really fast. I disagreed with one of what they listed as the worst.
Yeah.
Which they said bath salts.
Hey, bath salts.
Meaning like, and they like, oh no, that's different than the bath bombs or whatever. But I think anything,
anything bath related.
Anything bath related. I don't mean to stereotype it, but you ladies love the bath stuff.
Yes.
I don't understand why that's a bad idea.
I mean, now if it's like a one of those little packets you get at the gas station, that that some people might have been using to make meth or something. Like, okay, that's a bad gift.
because if she loves that, you've got the wrong woman.
You got the wrong lady. Now if we're talking about though any other thing, a gift basket you can get even at Walmart or something like that with full of bath salts and stuff like that, that's got to be fine.
There's a lot of guys right now who are like, oh crap, I got to run by CVS because they have the prepackaged last minute, oh my gosh, I forgot kind of stuff. And then the New York Post article went on to say the other two worst Valentine's gifts in order 2 and 1, alcohol and lingerie. And there's a lot of guys like, sounds great to me. Okay, that's not because that's because those gifts aren't for you aren't for her. They're for you.
Right. Yeah. See, that's the problem.
Okay. So then they went on to say, and this is where I'm like, you guys are out of your mind. They said the number 4 best gift is kitchenware.
Right. I
what
have no
the
idea.
heck?
Now, see, okay. Now I have to look at who their who the people they pulled are.
If you are not, if your lady does not specifically ask for that,
specifically,
do not do the domestic stuff.
Right.
I mean, you might as well just go, hey, look, honey, happy Valentine's Day. I got you a new vacuum cleaner. Don't do that.
Now, okay. Now here's one thing where you might like, okay, if your lady's a big coffee drinker, like mine,
like a Keurig or something.
If I get her a new Keurig, if I get her a new,
she'd love that.
New milk frother.
Oh, there you go.
Something like it's like, hey, look, this new station allows you to do cappuccinos. It's like,
she'd be all over that.
All over that. Okay. Yeah. For your coffee drinker lady, that's like, I think the one carve out,
right,
in terms of kitchen related things. But if you're looking at like, hey, look, this is a new spatula set,
and she's gonna look at that and go, it's very handy for me to beat you with.
Exactly. Or like Larry Connor says, do not get them anything
that can
like
double as a weapon.
Double as a weapon, like a knife set or a pan set. Yeah, don't do it.
And so they went on to say number 3 was scarves, which scarves are very, very popular now, and I couldn't imagine that being a bad gift. Chocolate's a no-brainer.
Yeah,
without a doubt. And watches was number 1.
Now I'm confused about the watches.
Yeah, of course, whatever hippie wrote this said a watch represents the gift of time. By gifting a watch, you'd be promising your partner that you'll be. No, I mean, just watches are popular right now. They're very popular. They're jewelry, whatever.
See, that's a way to sell watches. I mean, because time, you can just kind of give time.
Yeah, but how about an experience?
There you go.
That's what I would think
Yeah.
would be more popular. What does she really want to do, whether it's tomorrow or down the road, and give her that experience?
That sounds like a great idea.
Yeah.
Number one.
Attention, reptile lovers.